Fox Sports.
We are Baltimore. We are Arizona.
Oh, another day of blue skies and warm temperatures in Arizona. We are busy with all over the valley, and with a World Baseball Classic underway today, it's an exhibition game against Mexico's WBC team with Zack Greinke on the mound for the D-backs. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball is presented by your Valley Honda dealers. Good afternoon from Salt River Field to Talking Stick, and welcome to the broadcast. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly along the way. Our spring training coverage of the Diamondbacks continues against Team Mexico today. And Bob, I'll tell you what else continues. The Diamondbacks look at all their shortstops.
Yeah, it's been a very spirited competition at that shortstop position. Obviously, somebody has to play defense every day, but the real telling stat is 9 out of the 12 games the Diamondbacks have played, the DH has been one of the other shortstops. So Torey Lovullo doing everything he can to get those guys at bats, get them reps defensively, and try to make a judgment before the end of camp.
Yeah, does that tell you they want to get as many looks as many guys as they can?
I think that's absolutely what it tells you. Normally the DH position obviously is somebody you want to give a day off from the defensive position, somebody you want to see swing the bats, but the fact that it's been a shortstop 9 out of the 12 games tells me that's what they're focusing on.
So we'll tell you who's out there today for the Diamondbacks when we come back with Zack Greinke on the mound against Mexico's WBC team. Our coverage of D-back spring training baseball continues from Scottsdale right after this. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball on Fox Sports Arizona is brought to you by your Valley Honda dealers, where you'll get more standard features for less money. By Chaz Roberts Air Conditioning and Plumbing. Choose Chaz. By Gila River Casinos. Experience winning like you've never imagined at Gila River Casinos, Lone Butte, Wild Horse Pass, and the Cueva. By Law Tigers. Injured in a motorcycle accident? Call the Law Tigers, Arizona's motorcycle lawyers. And by Ram Trucks. Hurry in and get a great deal during Ram Truck Month. Arizona is brought to you by your Valley Toyota dealers. Visit your local Valley Toyota dealer or shop online. Toyota, let's go places. By Northern Arizona University. At NAU, we see possibility in every direction. By Tire Pros, everything rotates around you. And by Sanderson Ford. The best play is at Sanderson Ford. Home in the great state of Arizona, could not have asked for better weather conditions here in Scottsdale. Zack Greinke, his second start this spring against Mexico's World Baseball Classic team. And the first pitch is next on Fox Sports Arizona. Valley of the Sun. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly along the way. Arizona Diamondbacks baseball presented by your Valley Honda dealers. And what a day it is here in the Valley. They're enjoying themselves, BB, out there on the berm as the Diamondbacks get set to take on Mexico's World Baseball Classic team.
Yeah, it truly has turned into the Cactus League here today. Temperatures expected to reach the 80s, maybe the mid 80s by the end of the week. Absolutely ideal baseball conditions, not only for the players on the field, but for the fans and the broadcasters as well.
Diamondbacks playing their 13th Cactus League game. Their record so far this spring stands at 6-6 as Baxter gets everybody ready down there. In this, their 7th season at what really is baseball's finest spring training facility. Salt River Field's a talking stick. We talk about that all the time. We are just spoiled rotten getting to come here every day this spring.
If there's something you need to do as a baseball team and you can't do it here at Salt River Fields, it can't be done. I mean, we've got half fields and quarter fields and batting cages and bullpen mounds and fields spread all over the place. So plenty of territory, plenty of acreage to get things done here at Salt River Fields.
And a reminder, come on out here Saturday, fans, where Major League Baseball has a terrific exhibition of artifacts, some virtual reality, and IMAX. A projection screen is being set up for a great display of baseball. A lot of artifacts from Cooperstown. The Hall of Fame tour continues, so that'll be here starting on Saturday.
Yeah, I'm kind of looking forward to seeing Yogi Berra's catcher's mitt that he used to catch Don Larson's perfect game in the World Series. A little partial to catchers. And, the late, great Joe Garagiola Sr. let me look at some of his old mitts back in the day, and I'm sure Yogi's is going to look an awful lot like Joe's used to.
Yeah, this really is a one-of-a-kind baseball and technology experience. It's opening its national tour right here at Salt River Fields at Talking Stick. That's on Saturday. The D-backs are home that day, an afternoon game against the Giants, as baseball's Hall of Fame presents its We Are Baseball tour. So that is Saturday. Today it's Team Mexico, and here is the lineup for their World Baseball Classic team in their second exhibition game before they begin WBC play later this week.
Yeah, we just saw Alex Verdugo a few days ago with the Los Angeles Dodgers. Luis Cruz will be followed by Brandon Laird, Efrain Navarro, Sebastian Elizalde, Chris Roberson, Manny Rodriguez, Esteban Quiros, and Jorge Carrillo doing the catching.
Daniel Rodriguez will be on the mound for Team Mexico. And on the mound for the Diamondbacks, his second start this spring, it's the right-hander Zach Greinke. Here he comes. Torey Lovullo said yesterday he planned on having Zach throw somewhere in the neighborhood of 50 pitches today. Greinke threw 33 pitches in going 1 2/3 innings last Friday in his first start this spring against his former team, the Dodgers. Didn't look especially sharp, but that's to be expected. He believed, you know, it just is usually like that a little bit the first outing of the spring.
Yeah, gradually he'll work in his secondary pitches. He threw a couple of changeups, a couple of sliders his last outing, but mostly just fastballs on both sides of the plate, up and down in the strike zone. But starting today, moving forward, look for Zach to start to incorporate some more off-speed pitches.
And Bob, we look to you and to Zach Greinke for your Valley Honda dealers key to the game.
Well, I just mentioned it, the off-speed pitches. It's a key for any pitcher at the major league level, unless you're Aroldis Chapman. But you know, Zach Greinke needs his entire arsenal to be effective against an opposition, and the curveball, slider, changeup will probably show itself today here in this ballgame.
Let's take a look at the Diamondbacks around Zach Greinke. Our eye on defense, brought to you by Nationwide Vision Center.
Get your legs loose, AJ. Pollock will be in center field today, flanked by Yasmani Tomas in left and Osvaldo Arcia in right. It'll be Domingo Leyba and Chris Owings on the left side of the infield. More about the shortstop position later. Ildemaro Vargas at second base, Christopher Negron at first, Chris Herman doing the catching today for right-hander Zach Greinke.
Ramon De Jesus has the balls and strikes this afternoon. He is our plate umpire. The other three umpires, as they do in spring training, will rotate around the bases. Those will be Alfonso Marquez, Ed Hickox, and Sean Barber. The Dodgers' Alex Verdugo steps into the batter's box, and we are set to go. Diamondbacks and Team Mexico, the first of two exhibition games the D-backs will play against WBC teams. They have another one coming up March 18th, a game here against the second place finisher in Pool E, which is the Tokyo bracket. Alex Verdugo from Tucson, second round pick by the Dodgers 3 years ago. He'll lead it off. Greinke adjusting Domingo Leyba's stance at third base. He'll back up a bit, even with a bag now. And we are set to go. The D-backs against Team Mexico. Strike one, we're underway. Verdugo, a career .302 hitter in the minor league so far. Last year, a very good season, .325 and 16 home runs. Played at Double-A Tulsa. Greinke ahead 0-2. Last year, Verdugo's first experience above A ball as a professional. Playing in the Texas League. He walked nearly as much as he struck out. This is a very good young prospect the Dodgers have in their system. Slaps that one through the hole and into left. A leadoff single for Alex Verdugo.
Pretty good two-strike hitting right there by Verdugo. Let the ball get really deep into the hitting zone and just slapped it by Leyba down there at third base for the first knock of the game.
Here is Luis Cruz, the shortstop. You see his numbers in the minor leagues last year. He's actually played the last few seasons in Japan. These are numbers with the Yomiuri Giants in the Central League, .252 and 11 home runs. It's inside for ball one.
They're natives of Mexico scattered all over the world playing baseball right now. The Mexican Professional League started in 1925, a long history, celebrating their 92nd year with professional baseball in Mexico this year.
Wearing the colors of the Mexican flag, you see the prominent green and the red. Greinke missed away, and it's 2-0. 5 years of big league experience for Luis Cruz. He last played in the major leagues with the Yankees in 2013. There's the dugout on the first base side for Team Mexico.
I mentioned Team Mexico's red and green unis with the white pants. It looks like Christmas is broken out down there in that first base dugout.
This is driven into left field. Yasmani Tomas won't get there, and it reaches the wall. Verdugo being waved home. He will score. And Mexico takes a quick lead on Luis Cruz's RBI double.
Verdugo just slapped the ball through the left side of the infield. Cruz is not slapping anything. He blasts this ball to the gap in left center field. By the time Tomas gets it back into the cutoff man, Team Mexico has taken a 1-0 lead.
The number 3 hitter, the DH, Brandon Laird. 27th round pick by the Yankees in the '07 draft out of Cypress College in California. He grew up in Westminster.
Work for another one, kid.
He's played the last 2 seasons for the Nippon Ham Fighters in Japan's Pacific League. He last played in the majors with the Astros in 2013. You saw the numbers, a .197 career hitter, but he has become a real power threat in the Japanese league. 34 home runs 2 seasons ago, 39 last year. Oh, 0-2. A single and a double so far against Zach Greinke. A run is in. Cruz at second. 0-2 on Brandon Laird. Here to center field. It'll back up A.J. Pollock. A.J. just side the track out there. Cruz will jog into third. Efren Navarro, the left fielder. 246 career hitter in the major leagues, has 4 seasons of big league experience, all with the Angels. Last played for Anaheim in 2015. A run is in. Cruz at third, 1 out. That pitch misses upstairs, and it's 1-0. Navarro last season with both St. Louis and Seattle in their minor league systems. Spent all of last year in AAA. Hit .275 with 7 homers.
Navarro was a teammate of my son Michael's at University of Nevada, Las Vegas. He's from Las Vegas, and Efren has bounced around from team to team at the major league level. Unfortunately for him, he finds himself at a position where usually there's a thumper ahead of him. He's not a big-time power hitter. He's more of a line drive, gap-to-gap hitter, and his primary position is first base. And it's tough to break the lineup for a lot of major league teams at that position.
Yeah, he was a 50th round draft pick out of UNLV by the Dodgers in '07.
Come on, Efren.
You look at the resumes, Bob, of some of these players on Team Mexico, and these guys have hung in for a decade or more, playing all over the world.
All over the world, and also playing in Mexico in the wintertime, going back and playing in the winter leagues.
Yeah, there's not a lot of major league experience on the roster. They have some pretty good pitchers.
Yeah, the pitching maybe a little more major league representative with guys like Giovanni Gallardo and Urias from the Dodgers, Jorge De La Rosa from the Diamondbacks, formerly of the Rockies, Jaime Garcia. So they've got some big league arms on that pitching staff.
This one will be dropped into center field to score the second run of the game. The RBI single for Navarro makes it 2-0. That's 3 hits and 4 batters against Zach Greinke.
Appeared to be a breaking ball, just kind of fluttered out there on the outer third of the plate. Navarro just uses a lot of hands, flips it into center field for an RBI base hit.
Sebastian Elizalde, the first baseman today. Last season with the Pensacola Blue Wahoos in the Southern League. That's the Reds AA affiliate. 297 with 5 home runs. Popped him up very shallow center. AJ's under it, looking up into that bright sky. And that's the second out.
Yeah, we've been fortunate or unfortunate, depending on how you look at it, to have some cloud cover and some overcast for the last week or 10 days down here in Arizona, but not the case today. Better have your sunglasses on. Going to be tough, especially for those guys on the left side of the field.
The switch hitting center fielder Chris Roberson. He has played a dozen seasons in the Mexican League. Last year just over 100 games with Monterrey. Roberson, a former 9th round pick by the Phillies. That was way back in '01. He's 37 years old. He'll be 38 in August. 85 games with the Phillies in 2006 and 2007. That's the last time he was in the major leagues. Gets the strike call there, and it's 1-1. Another base hit against Zach Greinke. Navarro heads for third. The 4th hit for Team Mexico here in the first.
Well, the good news is Zach Greinke's throwing strikes. The bad news is Team Mexico's putting him in play with authority. The 4th hit of the inning. Already scored 2 runs. That's not a bad pitch. You can see Chris Herman was preparing to block it in the dirt. But instead, Roberson goes down, digs it out, and gets himself a base hit into center field.
Jose Manuel Rodriguez, Manny Rodriguez, the 3rd baseman. Ball 1. A veteran of 11 seasons in the Mexican League. He spent last year with Puebla. Drove in 69 runs in 87 games and hit over 300. Oh, they got Roberson picked off at first. So Zach Greinke gets off the hook, but 2 runs come in. Diamondbacks coming up. Mexico 2-0. And on the mound for the Mexican team, left-hander Daniel Rodriguez, 32 years old, out of Culiacan, Mexico. Some minor league experience at the AAA level with both the Braves and the Orioles organizations, but he spent 11 years pitching in the Mexican League. A.J. Pollock will lead it off. Let's take a look at the lineup for Torey Lovullo's Arizona Diamondbacks.
A.J. Pollock will lead it off in center field. Chris Owings at shortstop today. Chris Herman doing the catching, batting third. Yasmani Tomas cleaning up in left field. Osvaldo Arcia in right field. Jack Reinheimer serving as the DH. Christopher Negron at first. Domingo Leyva down at third. Ildemaro Vargas at second base.
We spoke to A.J. during our broadcast yesterday in the game against the Oakland A's, and it's certainly good to have him back out there every day this spring. And he feels like a new man after playing only 12 games last season, following that broken elbow suffered in spring training. Foul back, and it's 0-2. A.J.'s already drawn 5 walks in Cactus League play. His on-base percentage this spring is over .440. 3 for 13 at the plate so far.
One thing you hear a lot of hitters talk about in spring training is they want to see a lot of pitches, and A.J. certainly has done that. You mentioned the walks that he's drawn already this year, which is going to be a key if he finds himself in that leadoff spot all season long. See as many pitches as you can. I've told the story in the past about the great designated hitter for the Mariners, Edgar Martinez. And a couple days a week, rather than play in the big league game at 1 o'clock, he would go to the minor league complex where they have the clover leaf of 4 fields and go from game to game and lead off every inning. He might get himself 25 at bats in one day at the minor league complex, but he felt like he needed to see a lot of pitches and have a lot of at bats before the regular season started.
Well, A.J. only able to get 41 at bats last year in the big league, so still, I'm sure, some rust to work off. Chris Owings on deck. CO was supposed to be the DH in the original lineup, but is now out there in shortstop. We got a little stomach bug, I guess, going through the clubhouse.
Yeah, a couple guys are a little bit under the weather, including Ketel Marte, who was scheduled to start at shortstop today, and Chris Owings was going to serve as a DH, just like we talked about in the open of the show. Seems like whoever is not starting at the shortstop position gets some at-bats as the designated hitter every day, but a slight change here right before game time with Marte going down to the flu.
So you got CO at shortstop. Jack Reinheimer is the DH, and Domingo Leyva will play third.
Jack Reinheimer reportedly not 100% either, but okay to fill that DH spot today. He was originally in the lineup as the starting third baseman.
2-2 to A.J. Pollock. Rodriguez bounces one up there, and A.J.'s worked the count full 3-2. You and I have this discussion all the time, and neither answer is incorrect. But do you like A.J. Pollock as a leadoff guy, stolen base type guy, or in the middle of the order as more of an RBI type person?
Yes.
Correct. There's
both.
There's no bad answer there. There's a guy who could thrive in either role. He did not go a leadoff walk. That's A.J.'s 6th walk this spring.
And because of his versatility and his ability to either hit at the top or hit in the middle of the lineup, I think it kind of depends on the effectiveness of the guys around him in the lineup. If there's somebody else that shows that they can get on base with regularity, perhaps steal a base from time to time, score from first on a double, they may find themselves in the leadoff spot and A.J. down more in an RBI spot. But we'll have to see how that goes throughout the spring.
The numbers on Chris Owings last year. A.J. does have a stolen base this spring. Hasn't run a whole lot. And there's strike one. CO had a couple of hits and scored twice in the Diamondbacks win over the Royals. That was Monday in surprise. He had yesterday's game here against the A's off. A smash right to the shortstop Cruz, and Pollock is back just in time. Let's take a look at Team Mexico defensively. That's brought to you by Nationwide Vision Center.
Kiefer Navarro will be out in left field with Chris Roberson in center. Alex Verdugo in right field. It'll be Manny Rodriguez at third with Luis Cruz and Esteban Quiroz making up the double play combo up the middle. Sebastian Elizalde at first base and Jorge Carrillo doing the catching for Daniel Rodriguez.
Doing the catching for the Diamondbacks. Chris Herman batting third today. Chris is only 1 for 14 this spring. I remember, Bob, last year there was a while where you wondered if Chris Herman would ever get a base hit. He had a very slow spring. Started, I think, 1 for 24 or something once the season began. But then when May rolled around, you couldn't get him out.
I remember last spring training, it seemed like every day we saw Chris Herman in the lineup, he fouled a ball off his front ankle. He did it 3 or 4 days in a row.
Yeah, he had an injury-plagued season last year. Certainly breakthrough year for Chris. He hit 284, 6 home runs, but had fewer than 150 at bats. He was hurt much of the year.
The thing you love about Chris Herman, obviously, is his ability to go behind the plate and do a better than average job as a receiver behind the plate. He can play multiple positions. We've seen him in the outfield. We've seen him in center field. He could probably play the corner infield spots if necessary. And he's a left-handed bat. Everything that a manager looks for in a utility type of a player.
Diamondbacks figure to carry 3 catchers. With Chris Herman and Chris Iannetta, Jeff Mathis. Herman is probably the front runner to be the backup first baseman when Goldie needs a day off, but there are other guys who can do that as well. Goldie with Team USA right now at the World Baseball Classic. They begin their play on Friday. Daniel Descalso can play some first as well. He's playing for Team Italy today. Herman strikes out. 2 down.
Off-speed delivery from Rodriguez. Looked like a breaking ball. Dipped underneath the barrel of the bat right there. A little over anxious by Chris Herman that at bat.
Well, the questions have already started for Torey Lovullo about Yasmani Tomas. Off to a very slow start. 0 for 17 this spring. And Torey yesterday insisted those numbers you see right there were no fluke. 31 homers, 83 RBI, so they are not concerned. But Tomas so far looking like he has so often before when he struggled, swinging at the first pitch a great deal and chasing some pitches out of the zone. Looks at that one for a strike, and it's 0-1. And Torey admits that Yasmani this spring may be a little too jumpy, not seeing the ball real well. But the goal for Tomas this year will be consistency. And if he could, Bob, approach his at-bats, Yasmani Tomas, the way we saw him in the last 6 weeks or so of last season, the numbers he put up last year may pale in comparison to what he's capable of.
Absolutely. I mean, you can really sense it when Yasmani's feeling it up there at the plate. There's just a different body language, a different approach when he gets into that batter's box, when he's seeing the ball well and feels like he's in a good rhythm with the opposing pitcher. At other times, he's searching for it. Some weaknesses last year. That was one of them. Good fastballs up there around the letters. Had trouble laying off that pitch and had a lot of trouble catching up to it. And of course, breaking balls off the plate, low and away. That was his kryptonite. Just could not seem to recognize that pitch quickly enough to lay off of it.
What a finish he had. He hit 10 home runs in August last year, Yasmani Tomas, and then hit about 320 in September. That's out of play. There's no doubt as he heads into his age 26 season, this is a guy who's got a chance to be a genuine offensive threat, a run-producing bat in the middle of this lineup. When you look at those wrists and forearms, when you shake hands with Yasmani Tomas, it's unbelievable. You see where the strength is. This guy is just strong.
Wrestling a bear.
Yeah. So much strength in those wrists and forearms. You see where the power comes from. And it seems like when he does take one out of here, it's just a nice, smooth, easy flick of the wrists.
And gets tremendous carry. He hit some balls that just disappeared into the night last year.
The one in Philadelphia?
Yeah, he hit one just inside the left field foul pole that was a couple of decks up and just disappeared into the Philadelphia night.
Landed in Delaware someplace. He looks at strike three. 2 strikeouts in the inning for Daniel Rodriguez. Through 1. Diamondbacks trail it 2-0. Baseball Classic team 2-0. No TV tomorrow against the White Sox, but we're back with you Friday on Fox Sports Arizona. The Diamondbacks hosting the Milwaukee Brewers. Coverage starts at 1 o'clock. Brought to you by your Valley Honda dealers and streaming live on Fox Sports Go. Manny Rodriguez leads off the second against Zach Greinke. Mexico with 2 runs on 4 hits against Greinke in the first. Zach Greinke 1 2/3 in his opening start of the spring. That was last Friday here against LA. And Zach in that start allowed 1 hit, had a walk and a strikeout, 33 pitches, 17 strikes. He said it was a decent first outing, but one that definitely has got to get better. We haven't seen that yet here today.
I think back to my playing days, and since then, you know, a lot of the established veteran major league starting pitchers pay no attention to their numbers in spring training.
Madison Bumgarner gets killed every spring. His numbers are terrible.
I think back Rick Russell, Big Daddy, and Mike Krukow, some of the guys I caught with the Giants, their spring training numbers were in triple digits for ERA. They just got hammered every time they went out to the mound, but come opening day, they were ready to go out there and keep you in a ball game, give you a chance to win.
So how do you explain that massive gap in numbers and performance?
Well, I think once you've established yourself like Zach Greinke has, the numbers become secondary to the preparation for the regular season.
Like, what are they doing to get themselves hit so hard that they suddenly stop doing once the season starts?
Well, I think a guy like Zach, he depends on subtle late movement.
Another base hit for Mexico. This is their 5th of the game. Arcia cuts it off just shy of the wall in right center, and Rodriguez is in there with a double. All of these balls against Greinke very well hit.
And ideally, as Zach moves forward in spring training and into the regular season, he'll become a little more fine with his command. That was a hard curveball right there that stayed over the outer third of the plate. Team Mexico, a good approach at the plate against Zach Greinke, willing to go to the opposite field. They've got the barrel on the ball several times already in this game, but you know, Zach has that subtle late movement when he's right. A little bit of movement on the fastball, whether it's sinking or cutting. The changeup has a lot of downward movement. When his breaking ball is good, it's moving down. And at this time of year, the command just isn't quite where it needs to be for him to be at his best.
This is the second baseman, Esteban Quiroz from Sonora, Mexico. And a very good season, as you saw, in the Mexican League last year. .335 with 15 home runs. Your classic undersized second baseman at 5'7" up there. Esteban Quiroz, 25 years old. 6 seasons already in the Mexican League, a career .293 hitter. Out of play, and it's 1-2.
Has that exaggerated open stance in the left-handed batter's box, but you'll notice as Zach gets ready to release the ball, he's squared up in that batter's box, a more traditional hitting setup. Talk about it all the time. Doesn't really matter what you do while the pitcher's just standing out there on the mound, but once he's getting ready to release that pitch, you have to be in a good hitting position, and Quiroz ultimately gets to that position.
This is a tapper back to the mound. Greinke looks Rodriguez back, retires Quiroz for the first out in the second.
That's what you look for against Zach Greinke. Soft contact, just that little bit of movement I was talking about. Get the ball off the barrel out toward the end or down near the hands a little bit. Soft ground ball back to the mound, and we know Zach can field his position.
The catcher today, Jorge Carrillo from Tijuana, played his high school baseball in Tempe. Went to ASU, the Sun Devil. 14th round pick by the Mets in the 01 draft. 2011 draft, pardon me. Rodriguez at second following his leadoff double. Mexico so far 2 runs on 5 hits. Carrillo spent most of last year with the Mets AA team in Binghamton. Also played a handful of games at the AAA level with Las Vegas in the Coast League. Lays off the 0-1. Greinke's ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. He seems to be moving the ball around the strike zone a lot today, trying all 4 quadrants.
We saw him do that in his first outing of the spring, basically just with his fastball. Didn't really use a lot of off-speed pitches, was just trying to get into the rhythm of the game and try to hit his spots. And for his first time out, I thought he did a pretty good job of spotting his fastball.
Well, Greinke with the start today, as per the plan by Torey Lovello and the D-backs coaches, will line him up for his April 2nd start against the Giants at Chase Field. That's opening day, is Sunday. Because Zach got a little bit of a later start than the rest of the Diamondbacks rotation. Part of the idea to slow play Zach Greinke this spring through the extra week of spring training and allowed him to proceed through this camp at his own pace. Carrillo swings and misses, and Herman can't find it. Rodriguez into third.
Breaking ball in the dirt this time. Herman shifts his weight to his left. Unfortunately, just didn't get his body in front of that ball. Goes to the backstop, and he can't find it right away. I believe he would have had to play at first base anyway.
That'll bring up the leadoff man, Dodger farmhand Alex Verdugo. He singled and scored to lead off the ball game. The Tucson native. Dodgers second round pick 3 years ago. Rodriguez at third, Carrillo at first, and 1 out. There's a strike, and it's 0-1. Verdugo all of last year with Double-A Tulsa. Hit .273, had 13 home runs. Greinke ahead 0-2.
Jumped ahead with that strike one pitch and then comes back with a changeup low. We talk a lot about situational hitting, depending on where the base runners are, the score of the game, so forth and so on. And pitchers have to do the same thing. Early in camp, they're just trying to get their arm in shape and try to find the strike zone. But as camp moves on, they will pitch the situations as well.
Roll to shortstop. Owings for 1. Ildemaro Vargas turns the double play. So Zach Greinke able to work around that leadoff double. Diamondbacks trail it 2-0. D-backs trail Mexico's World Baseball Classic team 2-0 as we start the bottom of the second inning. And joining us from the D-backs dugout, the shortstop, Nick Ahmed. Nick, how you doing?
I'm doing great, guys. Thanks for having me on.
Well, thanks for joining us. Nick, the number one headline with you, obviously, heading into 2017 is that right hip. What was it like for you last season dealing with that hip and then recovering from the surgery?
Yeah, honestly, it was tough, and we had a bunch of guys who were hurt, and AJ going down the beginning of the year, and Peralta and some other guys, Herman, really banged up throughout the season. It was really tough, and I just tried to play through it as long as I could. It got to a point where I was doing more harm than good to myself and the team, and needed to go ahead and get it fixed. And I'm glad the timing kind of worked out where I'm able to be healthy again at the beginning of this season coming up.
Osvaldo Arcia leads it off for the Diamondbacks. Is that the type of injury, Nick, a right hip impingement that suddenly occurs, or is it the sort of thing that sort of builds up and gets worse over time?
Yeah, it wasn't like a one specific play type injury. It was just over the course of time, and it was, I guess if you want to call it some sort of wear and tear or something like that. So I started to feel it at the end of spring training last year and just kind of progressively got worse. Was able to kind of treat it with our great training staff a little bit here and there, but it didn't respond, unfortunately.
Hey, Nick, not in the lineup today, which is not unusual. Torrey's done a nice job of rotating you guys at that shortstop position, but maybe tell the fans what you do on a day when you're not in the lineup. Do you get extra work in? Do you go to the cage? Are you in the video room, or are you just out here on the bench rooting on your teammates?
Yeah, for me, definitely out here on the bench rooting on the teammates and just talking the game, trying to learn and bounce ideas off each other. But in the past, I treated a day off like this when I was younger as a work day. But as I've gotten older and played longer and matured a little bit more, I realize how long the season really is, and to take advantage of these kind of days as more of a rest day, and maybe work more in the weight room and training room today, and do some recovery things, and work more on my mental game and be in the video room and things like that, and just really try to give the body a little bit of a breather.
Yeah, because a lot of times we call it an off day, but you probably do more work on your off day than you do when you're in the starting lineup.
Yeah, there's a lot of work to do. We're always trying to get better in every area of the game, and different early works and fundamentals, things like that to do. But you just got to try to be smart and know your body and know how you respond, and try to do the work accordingly.
Team Mexico has the shift on. They overload the first base side against Osvaldo Arce as we chat with Nick Ahmed. Nick, you're a guy who makes a living in a sense with your feet, covering so much ground out there at shortstop, coming off a very serious hip injury. What was it like rehabbing that in the offseason? What type of work did you do?
Yeah, it was tough, honestly, just being in bed and on crutches for so long, not being able to move. I'm a very active guy, kind of high energy, and I like to be moving, so that was tough. Just an adjustment, but just spent more time with my family and really locked in on the rehab exercises. Worked on my mental game for a while, and then once I was up on my feet, I was able to do some different some training techniques and get off crutches and progress into the more movement-based things, the running, fielding, things like that. So it was definitely a different off-season, trying to navigate through the rehab process, but every step of the way, the trainers and therapists I had just pointed me in the right direction, and things responded very smoothly. So I'm happy with the way it went, and glad to be back out in the field moving the way I want to move again.
Yeah, it's great to have you back at 100% because you've got some real competition here at shortstop. How do you size up the position in camp this spring?
Yeah, I mean, there's a bunch of really good players we have in camp, and some great competition. I think competition's a good thing. I heard Derek Jeter say a few years back toward the end of his career that every year he shows up to spring training, he's trying to compete and earn the job again. So I take that mentality every time I show up for spring training. I want to compete and earn the job, and show the team and the organization I'm healthy and have made adjustments and I'm strong, and I'm ready to perform well once the season starts. So whoever ends up at each certain position, we know we have some depth at different spots and guys who can help out over the course of a long year.
And for you at the plate, the focus this spring more on taking the ball up the middle and maybe going to right center field? Yeah,
it's been a good focus for me, just kind of picking guys' brains at Goldie and AJ, and just really trusting their discipline and their plan up at the plate. And I've known they had so much success, and the hitting coaches preach it as well. It's just a more productive approach, just being able to cover the outside part of the plate where most pitchers seem to be more comfortable throwing strikes, and you get more pitches to hit out there. So just be able to stay back on off-speed pitches better and see the ball longer, staying through the middle of the field and right center.
Well, Nick, best of luck to you. It's great that you took time to join us here today. I know I saw you in the offseason, became a dad, huh?
Yeah.
How's that
actually
going?
Last summer during the season.
Oh, that's right, yeah.
Yeah, we got a little 8-month boy. His name is Jackson. It's fantastic. He's a happy little boy, and just starting to crawl around now, so it's going to be a lot of fun.
Well, you got your hands full. Thanks so much, Nick. We appreciate it.
All right, guys. Thank you.
Nick Ahmed, D-back shortstop, joining us from the dugout. That was a base hit by Jack Reinheimer on a terrific play at third base by Manny Rodriguez. But Reinheimer, who runs well, beat it out. And a terrific at bat by Osvaldo Arce to work the count back to full 3-2 and earn that leadoff walk. So 2 on, nobody out for Christopher Negron. Christopher is the first baseman today.
Boy.
Last year with AAA Iowa in the Cubs system, hit 256, 9 homers to see his career numbers. Just under 100 big league games, mostly with the Cincinnati Reds. Arce, the runner at second, and Reinheimer at first.
Boy.
Daniel Rodriguez, the Team Mexico starter, had a very good first inning. He walked A.J. Pollock to lead off the ball game, but then got 2 strikeouts. He struck out Herman and Tomas to strand that leadoff walk, but now 2 on, nobody out here in the second.
You mentioned the afternoon game tomorrow against the Chicago White Sox. The Diamondbacks have also scheduled a B game tomorrow morning.
Starting to fall behind?
Yeah, some of the pitchers need to get some work in, and some of the guys need to get some at-bats. And you get to this point of spring training, and it's so perfect to have our partners, the Rockies, right there on the other side of the complex. So Torlavello and his staff called over. That one's banged up the middle for a base hit.
Tony Perez-Chico waving home Osvaldo Arcia, and he's in there with the first D-backs run, the RBI single for Christopher Negron. First 3 have reached in the D-backs second.
Good approach, takes a pitch on the outer third of the plate, bangs it right back up the middle of the field. Team Mexico's middle infielders are really split wide apart. Generally, in a potential double play situation, you'll see those middle infielders cheat a step or 2 closer to the bag in anticipation of that double play, but that time split wide open up the middle, and Negron took advantage.
The switch hitting infielder Domingo Leyba getting the start at third base this afternoon.
I just quickly finish that B game tomorrow morning at 9:30. Some of the pitchers that need innings, Torrey said it'd be 7 to 9 innings depending on pitch counts. Been a great opportunity for some guys to get their work in less stressful situations. There won't be 10,000 people there at 9:30 tomorrow morning.
Starting to utilize those backfields a little more often.
We did the same thing down in Tucson at Electric Park when we shared that facility with the White Sox.
Call up Ozzie?
Call up Ozzie in the morning. Hey, you got 9 and want to play? Yeah, sure. All right, we'll meet you on field 19.
I need a map. 0-1 on Leyba. That one got him. Did this happen as often when you were playing as it seems to happen now?
No, not nearly as often.
Why is that?
There was 1 guy, maybe 2 guys on every team that would do that once a week. But the rest of the guys, it just never happens. It just happens to everybody in the lineup nowadays. I don't know whether the pitchers are that good, they're getting that late movement, or the hitters are over swinging and dropping the barrel of the bat, causing them to foul the ball off that front leg. We see this happen at least once a day.
See Ryan DePanfilo out there having a look at Domingo Leyba. So oftentimes we get spoiled. The guy walks it off and he continues to play, but then I'm sure it hurts for a week or 2 after that. But oftentimes it can be more serious. We saw Andre Ethier break his leg doing this in spring training last year in a game against the Diamondbacks. And then over the course of the year, Socrates Brito fouled a pitch off his foot and broke his toe. Ethier just fouled one off his leg. Didn't seem like that big a deal, but he had a fractured tibia. Didn't play until September. And with the way Leyba's been going, you want to keep him healthy. This is a very interesting young player. He's only 21 years old. Had a nice season last year with both Visalia and Mobile playing in single A and double A. Hit almost 300.
And I say it all the time after this happens. Leyba's going to get back in the box and continue this at bat and hopefully play as long as Torlavello wants him to in this game. It didn't stop hurting. That thing is, he can feel his heartbeat in his ankle right now.
They only give you so long to walk it off before you have to get back in there.
To get to a point where mentally you can kind of file that away and feel the hurt later.
Well, file that one away. He drops it into left center. This will tie the ball game as Reinheimer scores. Negron into third. Domingo Leyba. He's still limping around out there, but he's got an RBI single.
It doesn't hurt quite as bad now.
That'll help.
Good breaking ball that time from Rodriguez, working its way down near the knees in the middle of the plate. Leyba just flips it out there in left center field for an RBI knock and pommels down that first baseline.
First 4 have reached safely for the Diamondbacks against Daniel Rodriguez. That'll bring up the second baseman. Batting ninth, it's Ildemaro Vargas. And what is now a 2-2 ball game. Vargas last year just skyrocketed up the charts through Visalia, Mobile, and Reno. Hit .305 with 6 homers. And he has been a player to watch in camp this spring. He doubled and scored a run here yesterday against Oakland. Vargas homered here Sunday against the White Sox, his first of the spring. This is in the air deep to center field. This will get Negron home from third. Roberson has it just shy of the warning track. Leyba on that bum ankle, tagging up as well. And he's in there at second. It's 3-2 D-backs. The RBI for Ildemaro Vargas.
That ball makes a different sound coming off the bat of Vargas. He hit a ball way out of here to right field yesterday. He just seems to barrel the ball consistently. Got under that one just a little bit, but a deep enough fly ball to center, not only to score the run, but to allow Leyba to advance first to second. Good base running.
A.J. Pollock walked to lead off the ball game for the Diamondbacks. A.J. 3 for 13 on the spring. The walk was his 6th in Cactus League play. There is some action in Team Mexico's bullpen. These pitchers in the World Baseball Classic are all on the tightest of pitch counts. They have very specific pitches allotted. Depending on how long you pitch, that means you have to have more days off following. So they're on a very strict schedule in the World Baseball Classic. Counting every pitch, making sure none of these pitchers injure themselves. Pollock hits it out to left for Navarro. Makes a nice sliding grab.
Pretty nice catch out there by Navarro, a guy that's a first baseman by trade. Comes in, makes a nice sliding catch, has the presence of mind to try to throw behind the runner at second base. Nicely done.
Jacob Sanchez, the right-hander, is warming up in Team Mexico's bullpen as Chris Owings steps in. And CO lined one right to the shortstop. Cruz, his first time up. 2 outs, trying to get Leyba home from second. Another one hit out to Roberson in center. He got a late break, backs up now. And he's there, but the Diamondbacks down 2-0. Answer with 3. They lead at 3-2. Classic team 3-2 as we start the 3rd inning. And fans, this season you can watch D-backs baseball in Spanish beginning Friday, May 12th. Starting with the D-backs and the Pirates series. That's presented by your Valley Honda dealers on Fox Sports Arizona Plus and on Fox Sports Go. The great Oscar Sori, the voice of Diamondback Spanish language baseball, is joining us in the booth here. This may be the one day of the year you don't work. because Bob and I go home when the season ends. You keep going down in Mexico, right?
Yeah, hello Steve, hello Bob.
Nice
Glad
to see
to
you.
be here. And yeah, I do work. I will say some additional 50 games every winter, so I do like 210, 220 games a season. But ready for the next season, and as you say, I mean, we will televise again the games in Spanish.
Yeah, 25 games, Spanish language television on Fox Sports Arizona Plus, and also with Univision Deportes on the radio side. So you and Rodrigo will be busy this summer.
Yeah, it will be so interesting season. We are broadcasting this time in Univision also. I mean, the full schedule. We do the full schedule. And in spring training, we only do the last 2 games of each spring training. That this time will be against the Cleveland Indians.
This is Luis Cruz, the shortstop. High in the air, left center. AJ's over there. He's got it for the first out. So, Oscar, have you seen, I mean, you work down in Hermosillo much of the year, right? I imagine you've seen a lot of these players for Team Mexico.
Yeah, and I will tell you something. It is exciting for I mean, it's obviously for all of the players. They feel this game. I mean, the passion of the game in Mexico is amazing. Most of the players have played in Mexico in the Caribbean Series, like Sergio Romo just playing the Caribbean Series, and a lot of these players. So, and I will tell you, they are so exciting. There are a lot of stories around this team.
That's a foul ball, a long one off the bat of Brandon Laird. He just missed a home run.
This is a good story, Brandon Laird. I mean, his mom is Mexican, so that's the reason why he's playing with Mexico this time.
Grew up in Westminster, California.
And I saw his numbers. To tell you the truth, this is the first time I see Laird. I mean,
he's been playing in Japan the last couple of years.
Yeah, exactly. And he played with the Yankees, and he was with the Rockies. I think he played in the big leagues.
Astros, 2013.
Astros, yeah.
Yeah, but he's hit, what, 34 home runs 2 years ago in Japan, 39 last year. Just missed one right there.
Amazing numbers. I mean, we will see him playing third base. He's right now as a DH of Mexico team, so he will play third base. And I will say third baseman has been like the best position as Mexican player because Aurelio Rodriguez, I'm talking about hitting. Aurelio Rodriguez played there.
The Tigers.
Vini Castilla played there.
Rockies.
And they just say about the All-Star team from World Baseball Classic, and Jorge Cantú was there as the third baseman. So third baseman, and as I understand, Laird will play the third base.
Now, Oscar, we here in this country always sort of look at everything through domestic glasses. You know, as Americans, what does this mean to us? And not everybody gets excited about the World Baseball Classic all over the country. American baseball fans, as that one drops between Tomas and Pollock out there. But I think we need to oftentimes look at things through a more international perspective. And when I look at some of the different countries watching these World Baseball Classic teams, this is a huge deal to some of these fans all over the world, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. It's a huge deal. And we have the Caribbean Series. I mean, each year we have that tournament that it also is a great event. I do remember broadcasting a game in Santiago, República Dominicana, and it was so hard to hear my colleague. I mean, because of the noise. They play a lot in the crowd with noisemakers. It's hard to you, but at the same time, it's so excited also. So the passion that they bring to the stands is amazing, and I think this is something that we will see in Guadalajara starting tomorrow.
And we've seen that with some of the games so far in the Korean venue in Seoul. They're jumping up and down, and they've got noisemakers and things, and the same in Tokyo as well.
Yeah.
We mentioned your colleague Rodrigo Lopez. It's kind of unusual to see Team Mexico with no Rodrigo Lopez on the pitching staff.
I think he was the first pitcher in history. I mean, the first game in history for Mexico was against USA in Chase in 06. And as I remember, Rodrigo was the starting pitcher against Jay Peavy, so he was the first in history. Rodrigo played the first Classic. I think the second and the third also.
You see Braden Shipley warming up in the Diamondback bullpen with Zach Greinke approaching 50 pitches. That's supposed to be his limit here today in his second start this spring. And we've seen a lot of guys on this Mexican team, Oscar, have major league experience, like Efrain Navarro here. So it's boy, but I look at some of the other resumes, and some of these guys have played in the Mexican League for more than a decade.
Yeah, you can find a mix of MLB players, Japan League players, summer league players in Mexico. As I told you, there are interesting stories around this team. One of the recent players that was included, the last player included in the roster is Luis Suarez. Luis Suarez, he's not playing today. He did play yesterday.
Against the Padres in Peoria.
And hit 2 hits. He hit a homer also, Luis Suarez. There is another case, a very interesting case, because 2 years ago he was injured, elbow surgery, out of baseball, and he just won the batting title in Mexico last winter ball season. So he really deserved a spot in this roster. He did not belong to any MLB organization. He's not playing in Japan, but he has been playing great recently, Luis Suarez. And you find a lot of those stories in Mexico, and I'm very sure the same in Korea, in Japan. We don't know a lot of those players because they are not in the big leagues, but they are very good players.
3-2 now to Efrain Navarro. He lines this one out to Arcia in right field, and he tracks that down for the second out.
Navarro just played in Mexico last winter ball season. He was with Hermosillo, the team where I work. And he was the whole season there. He did a good job. He's more like a clutch hitter. I mean, he finds runner on second and third, and he delivers. And he was that kind of player. So, and I don't know if he will be playing the left field, but I suppose he will be playing the left field because Adrian Gonzalez will play, I think, the first base.
Gonzalez getting the day off today. That's the end of Zach Greinke's day as he hits the 50-pitch mark. Braden Shipley coming in. More with Oscar when we come back. Mexico's World Baseball Classic team. 3-2. How about that? A reminder, fans, this season you can watch Diamondbacks baseball in Spanish beginning Friday, May 12th, starting with the D-backs and the Pirates series. That's presented by your Valley Honda dealers on Fox Sports Arizona Plus and Fox Sports Go. The great Oscar Soria, Rodrigo Lopez will do 25 games this year on Fox Sports Arizona. There's also we'll also have all the games for you on Univision Deportes on the radio side. Third appearance of the spring for the right-hander Braden Shipley. It's the second consecutive time that Braden has worked out of the bullpen, and a relief role is something Torey Lovullo says he has discussed with Shipley this year. So we may see a lot more over the course of this season, but Torey says at this point Braden's still competing for a rotation spot. Brandon Laird at second with 2 down. And the hitter is Sebastian Elizalde, the first baseman for Team Mexico. Oscar is with us in the booth here. Now, Oscar, the Mexican team after this one, they get going for real here in the WBC. Round 1 against Team Italy Thursday night, right?
Yeah, it will be a key game for Mexico. They are in a tough group, one of the toughest groups.
Yeah, they play, well, they play Team Italy, which has Daniel Descalso playing, and then Puerto Rico and Venezuela over the weekend.
And Puerto Rico is, I think, in the best moment in the last 20 years, probably. I mean, Puerto Rico, had a great talent.
Both the Puerto Rican team and the Venezuelan team, it seems, always loaded with big league players.
And that's why I say it will be the toughest competition for Mexico in these 4 classics, because years before, I mean, I know Canada is a very good country also in baseball.
Sure.
But definitely Puerto Rico and Venezuela are so difficult to beat. So definitely tomorrow's game will be key for Mexico, trying to beat Italy. Actually, Italy beats Mexico in this stadium 4 years ago, and that was the key game, the losing game for Mexico, the reason why they did not advance to the second round. They lost against Italy. In the next game they beat the USA in 2013.
Yeah, we were here for that game. I think Team Mexico and the Diamondbacks. Seems like a long time ago.
Yeah, only 4 years. in Rodrigo pitched in that game. Not that you remind about Rodrigo, and
he's always threatening to make a comeback. Every once in a while, he insists he's retired. Then he'll walk down. You'll see him throwing to Mark Reed in the Diamondback bullpen, and you can see him thinking about it.
Yeah, he tried. He tried in winter ball with Culiacan, but now he's also an executive.
Yeah, he's big time now.
Yeah, he's executive of Bravos de León, a Mexican summer league team.
It's limos and private planes. 1-2. Hit high in the air, right center field. Arcia's out there with A.J. Pollock, and A.J. will take it. The great Oscar Sori. Oscar, we're looking forward to working with you once again all year. It is always a pleasure.
My pleasure. Thank you. Thank you, Bob.
Stick with the D-backs lead Mexico's World Baseball Classic team 3-2 in this exhibition game. And what an exhibition it was in center field by Gregor Blanco yesterday in our game here against the Gays. He joins us from the D-backs dugout. It seems, Gregor, so strange not to see you in a Giant uniform. How does the Sedona red feel?
Oh, it feels awesome, and the uniform is nice. It's beautiful. I like it. So yeah, and the ballpark, the facilities, everything's amazing. I'm just glad that I'm here.
Well, we're thrilled to have you as Chris Herman leads off the third. You were out there in center field yesterday, and boy, it's hard to find a guy who had a better one inning this spring than you did. You had a triple to lead it off in the bottom of the first, but prior to that, a tremendous catch up against the wall in center field. Tell us about that catch.
Well, all-star, of course, in practice. You know, I think it was just amazing how, as a team, we work on things and to try to get better when the games come around. You know, I have to give credit to our coaches or outfield staff. You know, Dave McKay. I think he's doing a great job with us, and that helped me a lot. You know, and to be able to make those catches. So it was good. You know, we got to play the game the right way and always try to support our pitchers.
Well, it was a tremendous run, Gregor, in San Francisco. You had a lot of key moments. Everybody remembers, of course, the catch in the Matt Cain perfect game as Herman drives this one off the wall.
All right.
There's
Nice.
Chris Herman. He's going to head to third as they can't quite pick it up out there, and Herman's at third base to lead off the inning. But Gregor, how is it that you found yourself in camp with the Diamondbacks? What was the process like for you once last season ended?
Well, I didn't know. I become a free agent, and I didn't know what to expect. I was just trying to get ready for this year, and I prepared myself. I have a rough injury last year, and I wanted to get back on it, and I feel 100%, and I be able to sign with somebody, so give me opportunity to play ball, you know, and now here I am with the Diamondbacks, excited about it, 100%, feeling great, and looking forward to have another World Series here.
Well, it's great to have you. Now you find yourself in a competition. It seems like anybody, Gregor, who was a left-hand hitter and an outfielder got an invitation to Diamondbacks camp this offseason. There's a lot of competition here.
Yeah, it is. But well, we just gotta play through it, you know, and I see what happens. We just have to give our best to the team and being a good team and support the uniforms and support the fans that are awesome. That I'm here. They're here supporting the Diamondbacks.
Oh boy, Gregor, you're quite a story. I mean, it was only about 6-7 years ago that you couldn't quite find a job in the big leagues. You'd been with Atlanta. You were in AAA with the Royals and the Nationals for a while. And then you went to the Venezuelan Winter League and you sort of hooked up with Hensley Mullins there. Tell us about how that changed your career.
Oh, a lot, man. It was just one of those moments in life that I just say, are you going to quit or are you going to keep playing, you know, and you have to give everything you got, and in that moment always take it to another level, you know, and I take it to the better player, and I always you think about playing every single moment like your last moment in baseball, because you went through it already, you know, so those out there that are listening to this, we just blessed to play baseball, and we just have to give everything we got in the baseball field every single day.
And then you wind up with the Giants playing for Bruce Bochy, a couple of World Series rings. Why are the Giants, Gregor, so successful over so long a period of time? What do they do right?
I think they do all the little things right. They really enjoy the game. And they have talent for sure. Like I would say everything, I guess, have talents, but they got something that every Giant player, when I step to that field, it shows it's the love for the game, you know, the passion to win and desire to accomplish things, and to be able to believe that we can do as a group. So I think those elements, I think we should have it everywhere we go, and I'm trying to bring it here, and it's great right now. It's a good feeling, and I'm talking to my teammates about it, and they're all excited about it. So as me, and we just got to continue to play ball.
Now, Osvaldo Tomas able to get the run home as Herman scores to make it 4-2. Gregor Blanco. Gregor, we're thrilled that you're here as a Diamondback, and thanks for joining us here today. We appreciate it.
All right, thank you, guys.
Gregor Blanco in camp with the D-backs. It's a Herman double and an error, and Tomas the ground out grinds in the run, 4-2. New pitcher for Team Mexico. In place of the lefty Daniel Rodriguez is the right-hander. This is Jacob Sanchez. Last season, his numbers in the minor leagues. There's a new shortstop as well for Team Mexico. Julio Urias has taken over at shortstop, replacing Cruz. Well, that's Luis Urias, pardon me. I gave you the name of Julio Urias, the Dodgers pitcher. And yes, they are related.
That would be news.
That would be news. I'm not sure the Dodgers would be thrilled about that. Here's Osvaldo Arcia.
Back to Gregor Blanco just for a moment. I'm a firm believer, and I think a lot of managers around Major League Baseball feel the same way. When you start filling those bench spots, the fourth outfielder, the extra infielder, the backup catcher, if all other things are equal, you're looking for somebody who's come from a winning program. And there's no question that Gregor Blanco has learned a little bit about winning baseball games from his time in San Francisco.
They know what they're doing over there. Been a great run. He was part of 2 of those 3 World Series championship teams down here with the Diamondbacks. Arcia walked and scored his first time. Team Mexico has the shift on. Osvaldo Arcia had 3 balls and a strike. Team Mexico has done some overshifting in this game so far. Not a whole lot, but just for some of the lefties. And their manager is Adrian Gonzalez's older brother, Edgar Gonzalez. That was a major reason why Adrian Gonzalez wanted to be part of this team. He's not in the lineup today, but he was battling tennis elbow through the early parts of Dodger camp in Glendale, but he really wanted to play for his big brother. And there is Edgar Gonzalez, Team Mexico's skipper.
You better play your brother, otherwise family reunions are going to get real ugly.
Another walk for Osvaldo Arcia. His second base on balls today.
I think people that have been around the Gonzalez brothers throughout their playing career kind of felt that Edgar was going to make his way into that big seat in the dugout at some point. He was one of those guys that was always the last player or 2 on a roster, even at the minor league level. He was always kind of the last guy to make the team, and all of his coaches, all of his managers, even all of his teammates commented how he was a student of the game and trying to learn how to run a game from that manager's seat, and getting a great opportunity here with Team Mexico to do just that.
That's quite a coaching staff they've put together here. Nick Leyva is his bench coach. Fernando Valenzuela is a pitching advisor for the Mexican team. Jack Reinheimer, the DH, he singled and scored the first time.
Yeah, you mentioned Fernando Valenzuela in Mexican baseball. I mean, there have been a lot of great players from Mexico, but I think Fernando took it to a completely different level.
Fernando mania.
That was crazy.
Tommy Lasorda was not afraid to run him out there and have him throw 150 pitches a ball game. Just kept throwing that screwball.
Well, and you wanted his bat in the lineup too. You didn't want to take him out of the ball game because he might get another at bat later in the game and he's likely to do something offensively. What a great player.
He's part of the Dodgers broadcast group as well. We always see Fernando when we're in LA. Arcia off with a pitch, and Reinheimer reaches out, just does get a piece.
Just based on the look of that swing by Reinheimer, I think that was a hit and run. He was just trying to put the ball in play on the ground somewhere, fouled it out of play, protecting Arcia down there at first base. I haven't seen a lot of aggressive managing from Torey Lovullo here in spring training. You just want to see the guys swing the bats and do what they can do, but that's another one of those things that as you get deeper in camp, you're likely to see some sac bunts, some hit and runs, some stolen bases.
Arcia holds this time. Breaking ball just missed. The count is 4-3-2. Jack Reinheimer acquired from Seattle in the middle of the 2015 season. Christopher Negron, the first baseman, is on deck. Reinheimer had a good year last season playing for Phil Nevett at AAA Reno, hit 288. Arcia takes off, and that's strike 3. Reinheimer strikes out, and Arcia is in there with a stolen base. Jack thought he had ball 4 there. But Ramon De Jesus rings him up. That brings up Christopher Negron.
Unfortunately, the throw to second base by Carrillo is high, allowing Arcia just to get underneath the tag down there at second base, in scoring position with 2 outs here for Christopher Negron.
Negron had an RBI single and scored a run, part of a 3-run D-back second after they trailed at 2-0. Zach Greinke today went 2 2/3 innings, threw right around 50 pitches. And he gave up 2 runs on 6 hits. He was hit hard in the first. And now Braden Shipley's come on in relief. The 0-1 to Negron. we expect to see for the D-backs out of the bullpen today. Braden Shipley, who's already in there, Kevin Jepson, Tom Wilhelmsen, Evan Marshall, and Jimmy Sherfy. All scheduled to see action this afternoon. The 0-2 gets behind the catcher Carrillo, and Arce is in at third.
Another Mexican alum that Oscar mentioned when he was in the booth here, Vinny Castilla. Diamondbacks fans will remember Vinny Castilla hit the first home run at Bank One Ballpark, now Chase Field. Vinny's hit more home runs than any player of Mexican descent. He's atop that list with 320. Second on the list is George Orta with 130.
George Orta played for the White Sox for a long time. Jacob Sanchez, the second pitcher for Team Mexico, trying to get out of this third inning. He's got Arce at third. 2 outs and a 1-2 count on Christopher Negron. This is on the ground to third base for Manny Rodriguez. And he throws him out. Diamondbacks add one more. They lead at 4-2.
D-backs have doubled up Team Mexico to this point, 4-2. Hey fans, for the first time ever, D-backs opening day will be held on a Sunday afternoon. Secure your tickets now for the D-backs versus Giants home opener at Chase Field on April 2nd. Get the best seats for opening day at the lowest price with a mini plan purchase. Visit dbacks.com.
Braden Shipley, the right-hander, who got the final out in the top of the third, out there now to start the fourth inning, and he'll face Team Mexico center fielder Chris Roberson. Roberson singled his first time up against Zach Greinke. D-backs have been out hit 6-4, but they lead it 4-2, and there's strike one. You may have noticed something new from Braden Shipley, and we saw this in our previous TV game, that dramatic pause in his delivery. That's something Braden used to do several years ago. He's brought it back this season, trying to slow things down a bit out there. He's been feeling a little rushed lately. And so this is the new look for Braden Shipley's delivery this year.
Yeah, the way he extends that left leg out there and just kind of pauses. Everything just kind of stops for a very brief split second, but that allows him to get his body into the position he needs to get in to get that arm in the right slot.
It sort of unfolds like one of those Swiss Army knives or something.
You get a look at it. Watch the left leg as he comes down right there. Just a slight pause allows him to gather on that back leg and then drive toward home plate.
A ball and 2 strikes on Chris Roberson.
Yeah, I mean, mechanically, not only does it help Braden Shipley get in a better throwing position, but it also helps throw off the timing of the hitter. Just that little bit of a delay. I think back to his days with the Los Angeles Dodgers, Hideo Nomo. Guys would come back to the bench saying they had no idea when to start their swing. Nomo had that tornado delivery, put his arms way up above his head and then turn his back to home plate. And there were a couple of pauses in his windup, and hitters just couldn't ever seem to time him up.
Well, Braden says this feels a lot better. He feels like to throw a little harder, able to get downhill without feeling rushed. Trying to find some more consistent mechanics than he had last year. Another 1-2 pitch. Yeah, Roberson all tied up. He gets the strikeout to open up the field.
Good change up there. That ball started in the strike zone, and a lot of late movement takes it right off the barrel of the bat out of the zone for a swinging strike 3. Nice pitch.
Changeup has always been Braden Shipley's best pitch. That's been his big weapon since he was a first-round pick in the 2013 draft out of Nevada. The third baseman is Manny Rodriguez. He doubled his first time. Braden had a rough time of it in his first appearance this spring. That was against the Rockies. 3 runs, 3 hits, and 1 2/3. That was the second game of the spring. He started that ball game. Gave up a leadoff homer to Charlie Blackmon. Yasmani Tomas with a diving catch. El Tanque covering some ground in left field. Tomas lays out and he snared it for the second out.
No time to waste out there either. That ball was hit on a line, hooking away from Tomas. Nice running, diving catch. You've got the sun to deal with out there. I mentioned that ball was hooking away from him toward that third base line, and his pitcher, Braden Shipley, sure appreciates that effort.
We saw Tomas get a little crossed up with A.J. Pollock on that ball that dropped between them earlier in the ball game, but that one never touched the ground. Ildemaro Vargas with a great stop up the middle, but no chance to get Esteban Quiroz. A 2-out infield single. Vargas has really looked good this spring.
Covering a lot of ground out there. I didn't think he had a chance to even make it close at first base, but got rid of that ball so quickly after diving on his belly to stop it.
I'll bring up the catcher, Jorge Carrillo from Tijuana, Arizona State Sun Devil. Struck out, reached in a wild pitch his first time. Mentioned Braden Shipley's first appearance this spring. That start against the Rockies, that did not go very well, but he was much more effective in his previous appearance. That was last Friday here against the Dodgers, and just like today, he came on in relief of Zach Greinke. And Braden worked 3 1/3 scoreless innings, gave up just 3 hits, all singles. Looked a whole lot better. Braden, when he was in college, he was a 95-mile-an-hour fastball guy. He's still got that in his back pocket when he needs it, but he's just not so much of a power pitcher anymore. He's trying to get guys out with his head as well as his arm. He's still able to run it up there 94, 95, but he's learned through his minor league career and last year in the big leagues to rely heavily on sinking the ball and using his off-speed stuff.
For a pitcher, it's always nice to have a little extra in the tank. You know, you cruise along at 93, 94, as long as you're hitting your spots, and you get a particular hitter up there that's getting real close to catching up with that 93, 94. And you can go one of two ways. You can either go a little bit softer, and Braden has a changeup to do that. And as you mentioned, a little bit of extra fastball that he doesn't always show.
He was one of those guys that just went out there and tried to throw it as hard as he could all the time, but he's learned to pitch. And it's much more sinker, changeup, curveball now. 2-2. Boy, just a perfect day to be at the ballpark. Blue skies overhead, very little breeze, very comfortable, not too warm. Diamondbacks will be here coming up Thursday, or pardon me, they'll be in Glendale Thursday, but they'll be here Friday and Saturday. Both our TV games, too, games against the Brewers and the Giants.
We'll have to see how active Gregor Blanco is when we play the Giants. See if he helps out with any advanced scouting. This guy can't hit a breaking ball. That guy never steals. Trying to get a little inside info from a guy that's been there for a while.
That'll be Robbie Ray against the Giants here Saturday. Patrick Corbin goes in Glendale against the White Sox tomorrow. Taijuan Walker here Friday versus the Brewers. Carrillo rolls that one into center. Quiroz is in at third. A couple of two-out base runners now for the leadoff man, Alex Verdugo. We'll see if Braden Shipley can strand to Verdugo, the Dodgers farmhand, has singled and scored a run and hit into a double play. He's 1 for 2. Quiroz, the runner at third base, Carrillo at first. This is on the ground. Ildemaro Vargas, what a play! He was shaded well over toward the first base bag, and Ildemaro Vargas, a tremendous diving stop to save a run. He keeps it 4-2 Diamondbacks. Steve Berthune, Bob Brenly with you. D-backs lead Mexico's World Baseball Classic team 4-2. And we're joined from the D-backs dugout by the second baseman this year, Brandon Drury. How's that sound, Brandon, second baseman?
Oh, it sounds good. Yeah, I'm excited to be back in the infield, and I'm really looking forward to the season.
What was it like last year when at the last moment suddenly you find yourself mostly as an outfielder? How hard was that for you?
Yeah, it was tough. You know, I really wanted to be in the lineup too, so that's what I had to do to be in the lineup, and I worked really hard at it, and I feel like I got a lot better, but yeah, it was tough for sure.
Did you have to work on something conditioning-wise in the offseason, Brandon, to transition to second base. Not that it's that much of a transition for you because you've been an infielder your whole life, but it's a whole different ball game there, isn't it?
Yeah, it's totally different, especially from third too. It's just you know, I'm going right to left all the time from third and short, and now everything's left to right, so it's just all different angles, and you know, being around the bag's different and everything. But I'm working hard at it. I worked hard at it off season, and you know, being here working with TP and Orlando Hudson, all these guys, you know, I really feel like I'm gonna get a lot better and be really good over there.
And you look pretty lean too. I know you lost weight going to camp last year, but you look even thinner this spring.
Yeah, I'm pretty lean right now. I feel real athletic, and you know, my body feels good, so I'm ready to go.
Yeah, one of the things that you're having to deal with this spring is the competition at shortstop. You've got 3 or more guys involved in the competition to see who's going to be the starting shortstop, and obviously as the second baseman, that's going to make a big difference for you because everybody's a little bit different in the way they feed the ball to second base for the double play.
Right, yeah, it's a little bit different, but you know, we're out there working. We take so many ground balls. I've got so many feeds from those guys every single day that, you know, I'm good with all 3 of them.
Domingo Leyba leads off the 4th inning. New pitcher for Team Mexico, the left-hander Miguel Aguilar. And we're talking to Brandon Drury from the D-backs dugout. Brandon, I'm looking at your numbers last year, rookie season of the big leagues, asked to play a new position most of the time. You wound up hitting .282, 16 home runs, but then I read that you said you really didn't think it was that good of a season. How can that be?
You know, it was okay. I feel like I had a couple nice streaks there. That first month and that last month really was good towards my season, but you know, throughout the middle of the season, I just didn't feel like I had very productive at bats. I wasn't really driving the ball. I wasn't driving runners in, you know, like I was that first and that last month. But it's all a learning experience, you know, going through those 3 months of whatever I hit, just grinding every day, you know, trying to figure it out. I feel like I learned so much going into, you know, the end of the season. I feel like I got so much better, and I just feel a lot smarter and a much better hitter than I was last year right now. So I'm really looking forward to, you know, getting it going again.
You know, looking back once again to last season, you mentioned you started really good, you finished really good. In the middle there was a little bit of a grind, a little bit of a struggle. Looking back, can you identify anything that maybe happened in the middle of the season, physically or mechanically, that caused your numbers to drop off a little in the middle?
Well, I think teams really started to try throwing me in, trying to beat me in, and I kept trying to as a young hitter. You know, I know they're coming in. You can feel the catcher setting up in. It's really hard to not look in, but that's what they want you to do is, you know, look in, and you roll it over to third every time, break your bat. You know, you're always behind in count. So I just, you know, I had to really take a step back and kind of look through everything and really just work it and be smarter about what I was doing. So I tried to really lay off that pitch in because I can't do anything with it anyway. I don't like it, and started really looking away and trying to cover, you know, those hanging breaking balls rather than looking in, and I can't cover anything else. Now I started looking out over and really taking advantage of hanging off speed pitches, and it helped me a lot. I just feel like it's so hard to throw strikes in, and I'm looking for it. It's just, it was an approach that didn't work for me, and you know, it was a learning experience.
Well, you really figured it out. You hit .365 in your final 30 games. What suddenly clicked there?
I just, you know, I started feeling really good. I got in a little rhythm, started playing every single day. But also, like I said, I had an approach I was sticking to. I was really sold out to staying right center on the fastball, and I felt like that looking for a fastball right center, I could really just adjust to off speed really well without lunging at it. So I was in a good spot, you know, where I felt like I could just hit anything.
Now, I was talking to you earlier in camp, and you said you played a lot of golf in the offseason, but then I come to find out that was sort of at the suggestion, or maybe, I don't know, the idea that Dave Magadan had for it, to try and sort of take your mind off the game a little bit. Tell us about that.
Well, I started playing a little bit that last like month and a half of the season in the mornings. Nothing too serious, just kind of go out early in the morning, hit some balls, and you know, I got into it at the end of the year, but after, you know, a couple weeks of the off season, I was back ready to go for baseball. I just kind of got over golf, and I started swinging in the cage and doing my stuff. So yeah, I haven't played a lot at all. I'm kind of in baseball mode right now, to be honest with you.
Sure, but was I read that Dave had the idea, we want you to just put the game away for 10 or 15 minutes, even if you just go hit some balls at the driving range across the street here. Was that the general idea from Dave Magadan?
Yeah, he knows how serious I take the game. You know, most people do, but I really take it really serious. And sometimes, you know, I struggle with that, with taking my at-bats home and thinking about them and analyzing them, and, you know, sometimes just too much. So, you know, a little golf in the morning once in a while.
Yeah, I mean, it's not going to be a Yoenis Cespedes deal where you're playing 18 holes every day.
No, yeah, it's fine. I guess it's good for my head a little bit once in a while, but like I said, I'm here for baseball. That's fun, but you know, I'm here to play baseball.
Did your off-season workouts, the things that you normally do in the off-season, did it change at all this year based on what you learned last season?
Yeah. I worked a lot smarter this offseason. I always worked really hard, but it was during a lot of just high-intensity stuff that sometimes isn't the smartest for baseball. You know, it's good stuff for mental toughness and, you know, getting in good shape, but I want to be the best baseball player I can be. So I took all my workouts and did everything to be like the most flexible, athletic, you know, best second baseman I could possibly be. So I feel like I train a lot smarter, and, you know, I feel really good. I feel loose.
Well, you look great so far this spring, Brandon. We sure appreciate you taking the time to talk to us and D-backs fans. Thanks very much.
Thanks for having me.
Brandon Drury, D-backs second baseman, joins us from the dugout. We've talked about this before. When you talk to Brandon Drury, you can tell pretty much all he thinks about, all he talks about day and night is baseball.
I mean, I know he's a happy guy. He's ecstatic to be where he's at right now, doing what he loves to do, but I don't think I've ever seen the guy smile. I mean, he takes this very seriously. When he puts that uniform on, this is his place of work, and he takes it very seriously.
Yeah, he's always in a good mood, but it's just that he's concentrating on what he's doing almost all the time, and that's why Mags had the idea, you know, look, just get up in the morning, just go hit some golf balls, do something that's not baseball just for a few minutes, and then come to the ballpark and do your job. They just wanted him to get out of his own head a little bit every day, almost give himself a break, as it were, because he's constantly concentrating about what he's doing. You know, when other teams go out and hit in batting practice before the game, Brandon Drury's on the top step of the Diamondback dugout watching the other team's best hitters take BP. I mean, he's constantly trying to absorb things and learn things. When he comes out of a game in spring training, we've seen him stay in the dugout and watch other teams at bats. Not a lot of guys do that.
He's got a great feel for the game. I mean, obviously it's come from a lot of hard work and listening to a lot of people that he respects in the game and trying to learn as much as he can. But you know, this is a guy that you know, he expects to be a great Major League Baseball player, not just make the roster. I'm going to make the team. He wants to be a great player, and everything he does is pointed toward that goal.
And he's got it in him. He's only 24 years old, and he is a hitter. A.J. Pollock, the hitter up there right now. Vargas takes off, and the ball gets by Carrillo, who can't handle it. And Ildemaro Vargas is in there at second base.
I thought it was interesting. Brandon mentioned one time about how they started to pitch him inside, as we get another look at the go down as a stolen base, because Vargas was on the move when that ball got away from the catcher, so he'll be credited with the steal. But when Brandon said they started to pitch him inside, and he just very casually said, I could feel the catcher moving in there.
Yeah.
I played with guys that had 15 years in the big leagues and had no idea where the catcher was set up behind home plate. He's just so advanced for such a young age, has a great feel, especially for hitting.
And you have to think that just being locked in at second base and playing every day and not worrying about showing up at the ballpark. Okay, am I in left field? Am I in right field? Am I at third? Am I at second? That's just got to help him enormously.
Even more.
Full count on AJ, 3-2 with Chris Owings on deck.
Well, it'll be a lot easier on the coaches this year. I know that, because Brandon Drury would come out with his outfielder's glove, his third base glove, his second base glove, and take ground balls at every position, take fly balls in the outfield. So now, seemingly settled in at that second base position, some of the coaches will have easier fungo days now.
And Chip was pretty good about texting guys, hey, you're going to be off tomorrow, you're going to be playing left field tomorrow, you're going to be DHing if it was an interleague game, that kind of thing. But still, it's a different thing every day when you show up. 2 outs, and Owings trying to get Vargas home from second.
Anthony, 2 outs now, 2 outs.
Talking about playing in different positions, Torey Lovello has said consistently this spring that Chris Owings is getting every chance he can to win the shortstop job. And they've had him only at shortstop so far, in fairness to Chris, to try and let him win that job. But we may see CO play some outfield coming up sometime next week. They may start that. That was something that Mike Hazen talked a lot about in the offseason, turning, or the possibility of turning Chris into a true super utility guy who can play a corner outfield spot, play second base, shortstop, whatever you need.
Well, from watching him in the outfield last year, I don't think that's a stretch at all. He looked very comfortable, very natural as an outfielder.
He sure did. He got to just about every ball out there in center field. One pitch. It's funny, A.J. Pollock gave him his glove last year, so I'm not going to need this. I'm hurt for 5 months. You're playing center field, you take it. And CO took the glove, and then, you know, after a while, he went to AJ and said, "Hey, is this the glove you used to win the Gold Glove?" And AJ said, "Yeah." "Well, I can't use it. I'm not using this. I might break it." "No, this is your glove. You take it." So he went and used his own. But that's, you don't see that kind of selflessness from a teammate. I mean,
especially with the glove.
Oh, I mean, you know, you can take all the bats, I've heard this, and the helmets and the shoes you want, but you're not getting my glove, right?
Man, it takes forever to get that glove broken in just the way you want it. Fits your hand just perfectly. It's just tight enough to stay on, but loose enough that you can got a little play if you have to reach out and get a ground ball or a fly ball. And guys get very, very accustomed to their glove, and they usually don't like to share them.
Owings laces the 2-2 pitch to center, but Roberson is there. And they strand Vargas. Diamondbacks through 4, lead it 4-2. Bob Brentley with you. D-backs lead Mexico's World Baseball Classic team 4-2. And one of the many joys of broadcasting spring training baseball is filtering through 70 to 80 players in camp. But the World Baseball Classic brings a whole new set of problems like this. If you can identify that pitcher, you can win a valuable prize. No name, no number.
He's a right-hander.
Whoever he is, he's warming up in Team Mexico's bullpen. We did get handed a list of 5 San Diego Padres minor leaguers who are joining Team Mexico. They're all pitchers, so it may be one of those guys, but we don't know. He's not wearing a number.
Yeah.
Jeremy Hazelbaker is taken over in center field for A.J. Pollock. And the new shortstop for Team Mexico came in a few innings ago. This is his first at bat. It's Luis Urias. That's bounced to the shortstop for the first out. Domingo Leyba, who started the game in third base, is now the shortstop replacing Chris Owens, and Dawel Lugo takes over at third. Braden Shipley still out there on the mound. Bullpen is quiet for the D-backs.
Now back on Team Mexico, designated hitter Brandon Laird.
Brandon Laird, the DH, doubled his last time up. He's 1 for 2. So for the D-backs, it's Hazelbaker in center, Leyba the shortstop, and Lugo at third. Braden Shipley came on in relief for Zach Greinke. Greinke went 2 2/3 today. Shipley got the final out of the third and worked a scoreless fourth, gave up 2 hits, both singles. Two and two. Team Mexico playing its second exhibition game today. They played against the Padres yesterday in Peoria. And after today's game, Mexico starts its WBC play in round 1 against Team Italy. That's Thursday night in Mexico. And then games Saturday and Sunday against Puerto Rico and Venezuela. And as Oscar told us, they're in a tough bracket. Those are some very good teams. Edgar Gonzalez, the skipper. Baby brother Adrian Gonzalez will be his first baseman. Gonzalez not playing today. And Shipley loses Urias a leadoff walk. Adrian Gonzalez was shut down for a couple of weeks in Glendale this spring over at Camelback Ranch. He had tennis elbow and was just cleared to play in the World Baseball Classic about a week before it started. But he was determined to get the chance to play for his big brother.
Mom always liked you best.
Efren Navarro. Navarro had an RBI single in the first. He's 1 for 2. Laird at first after the 1-out walk.
Well, the mystery is solved, partner.
What is that, detective?
The big right-hander in Team Mexico's bullpen is Kyle Lloyd, one of the minor leaguers that you mentioned that came over from Padres camp today to join the team.
How did you solve that mystery?
I heard the announcement in the press box.
Oh. There's Kyle Lloyd, a Padres 29th round pick out of the University of Evansville in 2013. He was an Evansville ace. He had a father, Craig, who played minor league ball in the Royals organization. Kyle Lloyd, 26-year-old right-hander. The question is, how did they know in the press box that that was him?
It's a good question. I assume there's a representative from Team Mexico over in the press box to point out guys with no names and no numbers.
I guess he's lucky to have a shirt. 3-1. Braden Shipley walked Laird after getting the ground out to open up the inning. And now he's fallen behind on Navarro. 3 balls and a strike. Sebastian Elizalde, the first baseman, is on deck. In the air center field, Jeremy Hazelbaker blocking the sun. 2 outs.
First baseman,
Bullpen still quiet for the Diamondbacks. And here is Elizalde, who has twice flying out to center. He's 0 for 2. D-backs will put the shift on for the left-hand hitter. Leyba, the shortstop, will stay over there on the left-hand side. Lugo and Vargas both on the first base side of second. Lugo closer to the second base bag, and Vargas out there in short right. There's a strike, and it's 0-1. Elizalde plays in the Cincinnati Reds minor league system. He was at Double-A Pensacola last year, hit .297 with 5 homers. He's also played 7 seasons in the Mexican League, playing mostly for Hermosillo. This is bounced into the shift. Vargas has it, and that's the end of the inning as Shipley strands the 1-out walk. Bottom 5 coming up. It's 4-2 Diamondbacks. Lead Mexico's World Baseball Classic team 4-2. Chris Herman will lead it off for the D-backs, and Herm the Worm, as he was known last year, authoring our Cox Gig Life high-speed highlights. A double, he wound up at third base.
Anytime a catcher ends up at third base from the batter's box, it's a highlight. Nice going.
There was an outfield error charged on the play that allowed Herman to get to third. He later scored on a Tomas ground out. And now he'll lead off the fifth with a 4-2 lead against the new pitcher, and his first reported by Bob Brenly. Now this is indeed, you can see no name, no number, right-hander Kyle Lloyd. A 29th round pick by the Padres 4 years ago out of the University of Evansville. And there he is, 6'4", 220. Apparently just got the jersey on the drive in. Didn't have time to put a name or number on the back. Herman has struck out, doubled, scored a run, 1 for 2. That's some defensive changes for Team Mexico as well. Sebastian Valley is the new catcher. Yafet Amador is at first base. And he is a big dude. How about this? 6'4", 300 pounds.
Wow.
He's been playing in Japan. Yafet Amador. 2-0 on Chris Herman. Sebastian Elizalde, who was at first before Amador, takes over in left field, replacing Navarro. And Herman has a leadoff walk. Fourth walk of the day, drawn by Diamondback hitters.
First base, number 42, Jeff Amador. Now catching number 52, Sebastian Valle. And moving from first base to right field, Sebastian Elizalde.
All right, Elizalde now, we're told, is in right field, replacing Verdugo. So Navarro stays in left, and now Elizalde in right. Valle behind the plate, and Amador at first. Here's Yasmani Tomas, 0 for 2 with an RBI ground out. Yasmani 0 for 19 on the spring, trying to get in the books, but this is not going to be it. Roberson, the center fielder, has it for the first out.
I think back to last spring, and I know it was an emphasis for the Diamondbacks offensively to try to draw more base on balls. Be a little more patient, be a little more selective, take the base on balls if you don't get a good pitch to hit. And granted, it's very early here in spring training, but it seems like the team has been much more patient with their at-bats. In general, there's always going to be that first ball hacker like Yasmani Tomas and some other guys on this team, but as a group, they seem to be a little more selective so far this spring.
Well, here's a perfect example of that, Bob. Osvaldo Arcia, a guy who has struck out a lot over the course of his big league career, but he's been up twice and walked twice so far. He's stolen a base, he's scored a run. There's a strike, and it's 1-1. Arcia signed a minor league free agent deal with the D-backs in December, after playing for 4 different teams last year. Good power, pulls the ball a lot, will occasionally go the other way, lifts this one out to deep right field, and it's off the base of the wall. Osvaldo Arcia, good day at the plate. 2 walks and a double. Socrates Brito running for Hermans and at third.
And sometimes that patient approach, making sure you get a good pitch to hit, something you can handle, will pay off. This time with an extra base hit to right field as he bangs that one off the bottom of the wall out there in right.
Evan Marzilli will run for Arcia. The DH, Jack Reinheimer. Reinheimer singled and scored in the second, struck out looking his last time up. Reinheimer is hit by the pitch and the bases are loaded. Christopher Negron, the first baseman. Bats with 1 out and the bases full. Negron had an RBI single up the middle in the second. Grounded out his last time up. He's 1 for 2. Rigoberto Beltran, the pitching coach from Tijuana, is out there. A mound visit now with the right-hander Kyle Lloyd.
I was talking earlier about situational hitting and situational pitching, and if you're Christopher Negron, this is one of those situations where you definitely want to get a ball up if you possibly can. Anything down around the knees or lower is probably going to result in a ground ball. You want to stay away from the double play. So as he gets into the batter's box, one of the last things he should probably tell himself is see the ball up, see it up. You want to make sure you get something you can either hit a line drive or a long fly ball to get that guy home from third.
Bases loaded, 1 out. The tapper back to the mound, and they get the force on Brito at home plate for the second out. Lloyd really had no other option there. Negron swinging at the first pitch.
A little slider working away from Negron. He just kind of smothers it in the dirt there in front of home plate. It's a nice play by Lloyd to get to that ball barehanded, shovel onto his catcher for the force at the plate.
And Socrates Brito is shaken up, sliding into home plate. Ryan DePenflo out there, but Brito does not look good.
Didn't see anything unusual. Might have just landed wrong on his slide at home plate. Might have pulled something on the trip down the third baseline. Not quite sure exactly what happened to Socrates Brito. And that left hand might have just clipped the bottom of Valle's cleats as he was sliding across home plate right there. Looks like the left hand that they're taking a look at.
Yeah, it's underneath the towel there, and they'll take a look at Socrates Brito as Domingo Leyva bats with the bases full and 2 outs. This is a great example of why Torey Lovullo has emphasized sliding feet first this year. He wants his Diamondbacks players to avoid those head-first slides. They're dangerous, and we just saw another reason why. So they take Brito off to be looked at. Leyva so far 2 for 2, a pair of singles. He's knocked in a run.
I have to ask Torey before our next televised game if the Diamondbacks practice sliding in spring training. That's obviously a lost art. Not very many guys around the major leagues know how to slide properly, and it used to be part of your spring training routine, but as time went on, they found out more guys were getting hurt in sliding drills than were getting hurt in the game, so they kind of did away with it in a lot of camps.
Well, I've seen in years past here that a sliding pit has been set up, and Joel Youngblood oversees a lot of that when spring training gets going. It's almost like a like a long jump pit that you would land in track and field. 1-2 on Domingo Leyva. Called strike 3. Lloyd rings him up and leaves the bases loaded through 5. Diamondbacks lead it 4-2. Classic team 4-2 as we start the 6th inning here at Salt River Field. And how about this for a highlight? 4th inning, our Chaz Roberts air conditioning and plumbing cool play of the game. Yasmani Tomas. That's a defensive run save.
We talk about reactive plays on the infield where the ball gets to you so quickly, but that was a reactive play by Yasmani in left field. Got a great jump to his right, made the diving catch out there to take extra bases away, and we'll see you tomorrow.
A host of defensive changes behind the new pitcher. It's the bartender, Tucson's Tom Wilhelmsen. His 4th appearance of the spring. He's given up just 1 hit. That was a home run here Sunday by the White Sox Tyler Saladino. You see his numbers last year with both the Rangers and the Mariners. Wilhelmsen with that big fastball, still trying to find the control. He's walked 3 and hit a batter in 3 innings of work this spring. Chris Roberson, the center fielder, leads it off in the 6th. Whole new outfield out there. You've got Gobert, Marzillion, Hazelbaker now, left to right. And Oscar Hernandez, the new catcher behind the plates. That's a foul ball. And it's 0-2. So Hazelbaker moves from center to right, replacing Arcia. Marzilli is in center. And Jay Gobert is the new left fielder, replacing Asmani Tomas. And Wilhelmsen and Hernandez, the new battery for the D-backs. 0-2 on Roberson.
Now in center field, number 75, Evan Marzilli.
Slapped the other way, but foul, and it's still 1-2.
Hey, partner, while we have a moment here, I'd like to extend condolences to the family of Gilbert Trejo. Everybody that knew Gilbert, he was just coach. He went to Arizona State University, played baseball and basketball. Managed, or rather coached, Maryvale High School to 2 state championships and 11 league championships. They named the field at Maryvale High School after Gil Trejo. He's in the Arizona Coaches Hall of Fame. He's done it all and affected so many lives over the course of his coaching career. He was married to his wife Gloria for 68 years, and unfortunately Gilbert Trejo passed on February 26th. And like I said, we'd like to send condolences to his family, and I know he touched the lives of a lot of young students and athletes here in the state of Arizona.
Manny Rodriguez, the third baseman, doubled in the 2nd. He's 1 for 2. And right-hander Tom Wilhelmsen, the Tucson native, here battling for a bullpen job with the Diamondbacks. Drafted out of Tucson Magnet High School, 7th round by Milwaukee back in 2002. Signed to a minor league deal with the Diamondbacks just before spring training opened. And a lot of people know Tom Wilhelmsen's story. He was drafted out of Tucson in 2002. He pitched 1 season in Milwaukee's minor league system. He was suspended after twice testing positive for marijuana, so he simply quit. Walked away from baseball and retired at 21 years old. And he went home to Arizona, kind of bummed around for a while. He took a job as a bartender in Tucson. He volunteered as a guide at national parks. He played some co-ed beer league softball. Backpacked around Europe with his girlfriend. And basically was kind of a displaced hippie for 6 years. He was 6 years out of baseball. And finally got together with his dad, Tom. He'd been a baseball coach of his in high school. And after 6 years being out of the game, said he was ready to give it another shot. And hooked up with the independent Tucson Toros. The Mariners signed him in 2010. He was in the big leagues the next year. And had a very good run in Seattle's bullpen. And now he's here with the Diamondbacks. Esteban Quiroz, the second baseman. So Tom Wilhelmsen can certainly help. Still throws hard. 33 years old this year. He was used a lot by Lloyd McClendon in that Mariner bullpen. For 5 seasons, an ERA his first 5 years in Seattle of .297, and along the way collected 67 saves with the Mariners. Was traded to Texas prior to last year, but something just kind of went wrong there. Didn't pitch very well. And the Rangers gave up on him. They sent Wilhelmsen back to Seattle. He finished up last year and was released in November. You know, he said when he was just bumming around for 6 years, he was able to grow his hair out and wear Birkenstocks. And he tended bar and just hung out, backpacked, hiked, played softball, and he basically just a kid. but still had a lot of baseball left in him. This is bounced to first base for Negron, and Wilhelmsen does a very good job. A 1, 2, 3, 6th inning. Diamondbacks lead Team Mexico 4-2.
MLB.TV Premium is back and better than ever. Watch out-of-market regular season games, spring training, and the World Baseball Classic live on over 400 supported devices. Visit dbacks.com/TV.
Well, Team Mexico's World Baseball Classic group determined to keep us on our toes here, as they have set yet another unnamed and unnumbered pitcher to the mound. We have, through our sources, Bob's staff has been working diligently to track this down. This is Justin DeFreitas, the right-hander, with a blank jersey out there. That just looks weird, doesn't it?
It sure does.
But he will start the bottom of the 6th inning. The numbers on DeFreitas in his major league career, just almost 200 games. Former 11th round pick by the Phillies in 07 out of Ventura College. Ildemaro Vargas will lead off the 6th. Vargas fouls the bunt back to the screen. He has had an RBI sacrifice fly, hit into a fielder's choice and stole the bases last time. And made a tremendous diving stab at second base to save a run. That was at the end of the 5th inning. Vargas doubled and scored a run here yesterday against Oakland, and had a home run here Sunday against the White Sox. Sends that the other way. It's into the left center field gap, and it rolls all the way to the wall as Ildemaro Vargas continues to impress for the Diamondbacks this spring. That's his 3rd double.
I'll tell you, the way he swings the bat, he's hard not to notice. I talked about it in a previous at-bat, how he barrels the ball up almost every at-bat. No stride whatsoever, just used his hands and his arms. Drives that ball into the gap in left center for a leadoff double.
I'll bring up Jeremy Hazelbaker. Hazelbaker came into the game replacing A.J. Pollock in center field, but has since moved over to right field. His numbers last year with the St. Louis Cardinals. Hazelbaker, a 4th round pick by the Red Sox in 09 out of Ball State. 4 years later, dealt to the Dodgers. They released him from their minor league roster in May of 2015. And he really thought that, well, I guess that's it. He might not ever see the big leagues. Went back home to Selma, Indiana. His dad is a tooling manager there. His mom runs the family roller rink, and he worked at the roller rink. Got a call from the Cardinals. They needed some live bodies at AA, and he did very well. Found himself in the big leagues last year. There goes Vargas. but it's fouled back.
That's probably fortunate that Hazelbaker fouled that ball off. Vargas did not get a great jump out there at second base, and with a left-handed hitter at the plate, it's a clean throwing lane for Sebastian Valle behind home plate. So probably a good thing that ball was fouled off.
One and two on Hazelbaker. Doel Lugo on deck. Line right to first base. Amador is there. And that's the first out in the sixth. Boy, he is a big dude. Yafet Amador, 6'4", 300 pounds. Played for the Rakuten Golden Eagles in Japan last year. Here is Doel Lugo. His first at bat today. His numbers last year with Visalia and Mobile. That's Class A ball and Double A. 311 and 17 home runs. First pitch swinging, pops it straight up in the air, and it's going to get back here and out of play. Lugo only 22. This is a guy that scouts like a lot. He's a strong guy, acquired by the Diamondbacks from Toronto midway through the 2015 season. That was a deal that sent Cliff Pennington to the Blue Jays. Blue Jays were the team that signed Lugo out of the Dominican Republic back in 2011. That's over the head of Tony Perez Chica at third. Out of play, and it's 0-2. I see that down in Florida, everybody's all abuzz about number 15 for the Mets.
Yeah.
Getting in a baseball game, Tim Tebow.
Some of the fans here in the Valley had a chance to see him play in the Fall League, but getting his first taste of Grapefruit League play today.
That'll be interesting. Tim Tebow up against Cy Young winner Rick Porcello and the Red Sox. Advantage push. The 0-2 to Lugo. What do you think about that, Tim Tebow, as a 30-year-old rookie in an instructional league and minor league camp of the Mets?
I mean, you know, I respect the guy for giving it a shot. You know, it was something that he felt he wanted to do, something he felt he could do. So I give him a lot of props for that. But I think he's going to discover it's not quite as easy as he thought.
Vargas on the run. Lugo rolls it into left field. This will bring the 5th run home. An RBI single for Doel Lugo, and it's 5-2.
Up down, just smothers it through that left side of the infield. The third baseman had broken early to cover the bag at third. Given the fact Vargas was on the move once again, that vacated that hole on the left side. An RBI base hit.
Well, this was the spot where Socrates Brito ran for Chris Herman, but Brito had to leave the ball game after injuring his left hand, sliding headfirst into home plate. So Jake Gobert is taking the at bat. He's out there in left field. This is lofted to shallow center, and that's 2 down. Gobert pops up, and batting in Yasmani Tomas's spot, the center fielder Evan Marzilli.
Evan Marzilli.
Every time I see Evan Marzilli, I can't help but think of former D-back, former Cub, former Washington National Tony Campana.
Why is that?
Very physically similar, the same size. Both guys wear the pants up high around the knees, show a lot of sock. Both guys cover a lot of ground in the outfield, rely on their speed. Just very similar types of players.
Marzilli spent almost all of last season playing for Robbie Hammock at AA Mobile. Was in Reno for a while as well, but mostly in the Southern League. Didn't hit a whole lot, played only 21 games at AAA Reno last year. And for his minor league season, Evan had a slugging percentage of only .308, so there was almost no power. In fact, his career minor league slugging percentage is only 1 point higher than his career on base percentage.
Did I say he reminds me of Tony Campana?
You were right on the money there.
Well, I think both guys are very smart to understand that power is not part of their game. Use the bunt, slap the ball on the ground, use your speed. As Dirty Harry Callahan says, a man's got to know his limitations. Oh.
Looks at strike 3, but Vargas doubles, Lugo singles through 6. It's 5-2 D-backs. Inning here in Scottsdale. Fans, you can customize your own ticket pack with a D-backs mini plan this year. Get the best seats for the lowest prices, including lower level tickets for opening day and for series against teams like the Indians, the Cubs, and the Dodgers. For tickets, visit dbacks.com/mini-plan. Oh, beautiful day for baseball at Salt River Fields at Talking Sticks. Steve Berthune and Bob Brentley along the way. New pitcher for the D-backs as we start the 7th. It's the right-hander Kevin Jepsen. 3 appearances this spring. You see his numbers last year, both with Minnesota and Tampa Bay. Kevin worked Sunday's game here against Chicago, pitched 1 scoreless inning. This is the 4th appearance of spring training. So far, he's worked 3 innings, giving up 2 runs on 4 hits, including a couple of home runs. The Rockies' Nolan Arenado got him. And the other was against the White Sox, Nicky Delmonico. That was last week in Glendale. The catcher, Sebastian Valle, leads it off for Team Mexico in the 7th. Jason Priddy is checked into the ball game as well for the Diamondbacks. He replaces Christopher Negron at first base. And there's a look at the defensive alignment for Sebastian Valle, the catcher. Big Yafet Amador, the first baseman, is on deck. You don't often see in baseball a leadoff hitter who checks in at 6'4", 300 pounds. But Amador batting in the leadoff spot where Verdugo was. Driven out to center field. Evan Marzilli on the run. He chases it down in the gap. One away.
Love to watch those fast outfielders. It was fun to watch Chris Owings last year at Chase Field and around the National League playing center field. Guys that have good speed in center, that's their opportunity to really showcase it going into the gaps to their right or left, and Marzilli has speed to burn.
Yeah, he's always been a guy that covers a lot of ground out there. Fun to watch. Here he is, 6'4", 300, Yafet Amador. Last year in Japan with the Rakuten Golden Eagles, he hit 9 home runs, 258. He led the Mexican League in home runs just 2 years ago, hit 41 during the regular season, and won the league MVP award.
They were afraid not to give it to him.
Exactly. I mean, do you have a choice? I'll take that. Last played in the Mexican League for Diablos Rojos. He had a season in the Mexican Pacific League in winter ball where he hit 17 homers in 61 games. Gets into one and drives it deep to left center field. Marzilli again is there. 2 outs.
Didn't quite catch it on the barrel. Got a huge reaction from the fans here at Salt River Field when that ball came off the bat, but Marzilli able to run it down in the gap in left center for out number 2.
The shortstop, Urias. Kevin Jepson, his 4th appearance of the spring. He was signed by the Diamondbacks on the same day that pitchers and catchers were due to report here, February 13th. Parts of 9 seasons in the major leagues, mostly with the Angels. He spent the last 2 seasons with Tampa Bay and Minnesota. He grew up in Reno. A 2nd-round pick out of high school there by the Angels in 2002. Pitched 7 seasons in the Anaheim bullpen. That one is by Pridey and Vargas, and into right, a base hit. He hit it to the perfect spot, a 2-out single.
That's one the old timers call a seeing eye hit. Just out of the reach of the first baseman, just out of the reach of the second baseman, rolls through into right field for a base hit. Like the baseball had eyes.
Luis Suarez will hit for the DH Brandon Laird. Jepson, another one of the veteran major league relievers brought into camp this spring by Mike Hazen in the new front office. They have a lot of options, and many of them with big league experience. Guys like Brian Mattis and Jorge De La Rosa, and Kevin Jepson and Tom Wilhelmsen and J.J. Hoover. As the D-backs try and piece together a bullpen this year. Jepson was a guy who was vital to Mike Scioscia's bullpen for a while there. Just a few years ago, back-to-back seasons with more than 70 appearances. A slow tapper, Lugo in from third. And the throw pulled Pridey off the bag. Dawel Lugo charged that one, but Juarez is safe at first.
It looked like it wasn't a clean exchange that time. Didn't really get a good grip on the baseball as he pulled it out of the glove and threw high to first base.
For Navarro, the left fielder, RBI single in the first. He's 1 for 3 today. They give Lugo an error on the play, E5. So first and second, 2 outs for Navarro. Jepsen, after his run in Anaheim, traded to Tampa Bay prior to the 2015 season. And later that year, dealt to Minnesota at the trade deadline. And last year, he was released by the Twins and finished up back in Tampa Bay. Behind on Navarro, 2-0. Busy week for the D-backs. After this one, it's back to Cactus League play. We are in Glendale tomorrow. Patrick Corbin starts against the White Sox at Camelback Ranch, and then back here Friday and Saturday for TV games. Taijuan Walker faces Milwaukee Friday afternoon. And Robbie Ray gets the Giants Saturday, and that's also a 1:10 start. Jepsen behind, 3 balls and no strikes. Navarro last season with St. Louis and Seattle. Spent the entire year in AAA. .275 with 7 home runs. And Jepsen walks. The bases are loaded. A single, an E5, and a walk-on with 2 outs. And that'll bring up the right fielder, Sebastian Elizalde. He started the game in first base and is now out in right field. Bases loaded for Team Mexico and 2 down. Urias is the runner at third. Juarez at second, and Navarro at first.
And with the pull shift on for the hitter at the plate, Elizalde, there is nobody close to the bag at third. Yeah, that base runner at third base can walk as far down the line as he wants. As long as he can outrun Oscar Hernandez back to the base at third, he can come at least halfway down that line if he so chooses.
You've got Leyba at shortstop, Lugo the third baseman behind the second base umpire, and Vargas is out there in short right. There's strike 1. Elizalde so far 0 for 3. He has twice flied out, each grounded out. Played AA ball last year in the Cincinnati Reds organization. Nice block by Oscar Hernandez. Keeps Urias at third.
Good quickness there by Oscar Hernandez to get in a good blocking position with the bases loaded. That just saved a run right there.
You know, Oscar, Bob, this spring has looked a lot more polished, I think, both at the plate and behind it.
I think it all starts between the ears. I think he just developed that much confidence after the first year when he was a Rule 5 pick and sat around and watched a lot of baseball, tried to absorb as much as he could, but then last year had an opportunity to really be a player. Even though his time in the major leagues was limited, you could just tell by his body language that he felt like he belonged.
He's already hit a couple of home runs this spring, and he's looked very good defensively. A ball and a strike to Sebastian Elizalde. This is upstairs, and it's 2-1. Bullpen will get busy for the Diamondbacks. Got some guys from minor league camp are warming up down there. One pitch.
The fans here at Salt River Fields rooting for Team Mexico finally have something to cheer about here. A chance to get back into this ball game with a well-placed base hit.
Jepson trying to leave him loaded. He's walked in a run. It's 5-3. Back-to-back walks, both with 2 outs.
And this is something you don't like to see at any time of the year. 2 quick outs. Looked like it was going to be a 1-2-3 inning. Get his team back in the dugout, and suddenly the wheels fell off. A base hit, an error, and back-to-back walks. Have forced in a run. Bases are still loaded.
Mike Butcher to the mound. Chris Roberson, the center fielder, who's 1 for 3 with a single, will be the hitter. It's already been a 21 pitch inning for Kevin Jepson. Juarez is at third, Navarro at second, and Elizalde at first. Diamondbacks have been out hit 9-8, but they lead at 5-3. There's the strike, and it's 0-1. Roberson singled in the first. He has also struck out and flied out. Back to that same spot, jumps ahead, no balls and 2 strikes. Roberson just gets a piece of that to stay alive. Chris Roberson, a dozen seasons in the Mexican League. Last year, just over 100 games with Monterrey, hit .320 with 8 homers. Waves at that one. Oscar Hernandez steps on the plate, and that'll do it. So Jepson leaves him loaded, but Team Mexico gets one of the bases loaded walk. It's a 5-3 D-backs lead. Stick. The Diamondbacks lead Mexico's World Baseball Classic team 5-3. As our coverage of Diamondback spring training baseball continues on Fox Sports Arizona. 2 more TV games coming up. Friday and Saturday against the Brewers and the Giants. You'll see Taijuan Walker start on Friday and then Robbie Ray on Saturday. I'd like to tell you who this is pitching, but as you can see, once again, it's no name and no number.
We will eventually get word. It looks like it's Adam Simber.
Good call. Adam Simber, the right-hander, pitched at USF. He's a San Francisco Don, a 9th-round pick by the Padres 4 years ago. Once again, BB, you have solved the mystery. Oscar Hernandez leads off the 7th. And Oscar drops one into shallow left center, a leadoff single.
Now moving to second base for Team Mexico number 3, Luis Orioles. Now moving to shortstop for the second base. Number 17, Esteban Quiles.
Host of changes out there for Team Mexico. Josh Tolley hitting for the DH, Jack Reinheimer. For Team Mexico, Urias and Quiroz have switched positions. Quiroz now the shortstop, and Urias at second base. Tolley knocks this one down the right field line. That lands just fair. Oscar Hernandez being waved home by Tony Perez Chica. And Oscar slipped halfway there, had to go back to the bag. It's a double for Tolley. I'm not sure Oscar's okay.
Cement mixer slider that never took the break, and Tolley hits it right down the right field line. You've got 2 catchers out there running the bases. Oscar started his slide a little too soon right here. Lost his footing around third base, had to hit the brakes and go back to the bag. Josh Tolley was looking for 3 all the way. He had to slam on the brakes and go back to second.
Oscar would have scored easily there had he not tripped over the third base bag, but still second and third, nobody out. Good start here for the D-backs in the 7th. And here's Jason Pridey, who took over at first base for Christopher Negron. Foul back and out of play. Jason Pridey got the start at first base here yesterday against the Oakland A's.
I don't know how many of the fans out there follow the Diamondbacks on game day, but you know, we usually have it pulled up here in the booth just to keep track of the changes and what have you. And on game day, it says Jason Pridey singles on a fly ball to center field, and Domingo Leba's already at the plate.
Maybe they know something we don't.
Crystal ball there at game day.
I like what it says.
Yeah.
The infield for Mexico is in on the grass. Well, we'll see how this works out. You know, if that really happens, then it'll be time to panic. 1-2 on Jason Pridey. Evan Marshall warming up in the D-backs bullpen. Evan will get the 8th inning. And we expect to see Jimmy Sherfy pitch the 9th again. Sherfy's already got 2 saves this spring. Hernandez at third, Tolley at second. Some good catcher speed on the bases. Two and two. D-backs playing their 13th Cactus League game. Although this technically is not a Cactus League game, it's an exhibition, but their 13th spring game. So far they are 6-6. And Pridey's worked the count full 3-2. He's pulled a goldie. He's playing first base.
Yeah, you have to, I guess.
So around here, going from an 0-2 count to a 3-2 count is known as pulling a goldie, as America's first baseman so often does. So here's the 3-2. Friday hits it in the air, deep right field. Here comes Oscar Hernandez safely into home. Tolley into third, and it's 6-3, the RBI for Friday.
Good battling at bat there by Pridey. Got fooled a little bit by that 3-2 delivery from Simber, but managed to get enough of the bat on it to get it in the air to deep right field. Hernandez scores from third base, and Tolley moves up to third.
Here is Domingo Leyba. 2 for 3, a pair of singles. He's knocked in a run. Infield still in for Team Mexico with Tolley at third and 1 out. Domingo Leyba acquired from the Tigers in the same deal that brought Robbie Ray to the Diamondbacks. He hit just .237 2 years ago, playing the whole season at Visalia. But last year, between Visalia and Mobile, that average jumped up to .296. And with Domingo Leyba, you always hear scouts talk about the hit tool. This guy's got a great hit tool. A nice offensive improvement last year, hit nearly 300. Solid line drive hitter. And still just 21 years old. That's out of play. Last year was Leyba's first season above the Class A level as a professional. Playing for Robbie Hammock at Mobile. Robbie now in the big league staff for the Diamondbacks and wearing his familiar number 7 here in camp. That was the same trade with the Yankees, the Tigers, and the Diamondbacks that sent Didi Gregorius to the Yankees. And Didi had a couple of big hits last night for the Netherlands in their win over Chinese Taipei in the World Baseball Classic. He was the DH. Leyba strikes out. Here is Ildemaro Vargas. Vargas knocked in a run with a sac fly in the second. In the fourth, he reached on a fielder's choice and stole a base, and in the sixth, he doubled and scored. He's also made a terrific diving defensive play at second base to save a run. Right back to the mound, and that ends the inning. And fans, at this time, we want to remind you that our Fox Sports family recently lost a true legend. Here with more is Joe Buck.
Joy of playing ball. Bill Webb was a television director. That's like saying Babe Ruth was a ball player. Webby, as he was affectionately known by his friends, was a larger-than-life persona. His knowledge of the game, his admiration for the players, mixed with an uncanny ability to read what was going to happen and to get it right, made him the greatest baseball television director in the history of the game. If you've watched a World Series or an All-Star game over the past 20 years, you've seen his art. You've seen Webby's brilliance. How we watch and know baseball today is due in large part to him. Bill Webb, television baseball director, a television immortal.
Bill Webb passing away due to cancer complications. He leaves behind his wife Cindy, his children Matt, Aaron, and Samantha, and we mourn our loss. And it was great to hear Joe Buck pay tribute to a great man that in his career, a guy, Bob Webby, who really did change the way we watch baseball.
No question about it. I was very fortunate to work on some crews with Bill Webb, and he just had that uncanny ability to make everybody around him relaxed and a little better at what they do for a living than they normally were. Webby, he was one of a kind, one of the greats.
And his loss especially felt in New York, where he worked so long at SNY for the Mets broadcast, working with a great booth there, Gary Cohen and Keith Hernandez, Ron Darling. So our condolences to the entire Webb family as Evan Marshall is out there to start the 8th inning. See the numbers for Evan last year, 15 games with the Diamondbacks. It was a struggle. 28 hits allowed in 15 1/3 innings, 8 walks and 9 strikeouts. This is Evan's 4th Cactus League appearance this spring, or his 4th spring appearance. And so far he's worked 3 innings, giving up just 1 run on 4 hits. Manny Rodriguez, the third baseman, leads off the game. Evan Marshall, in his last 2 appearances, both against the White Sox, has turned in 1 scoreless inning with a strikeout. He was out there for a while in his previous appearance. That was here Sunday against Chicago, and he threw 27 pitches. Had a walk, a single, and a strikeout. In the air, deep left field. Gobert at the wall at the track, and it's off the top of the wall. Rodriguez in at second with a double.
Fastball inner part of the plate right there. Rodriguez barrels it up to left field. Looked like it had a chance to get out of here. Gobert tracks it all the way to the wall, and a nice job by Evan Marzilli to come over from center field and back that play up. He knows if the left fielder gets too close to the wall, there's a chance that ball could hit and ricochet past him. So Evan Marzilli hustled over from center to make that play.
Esteban Quiroz from Sonora, Mexico. Started the game at second base. He's now at shortstop. 1 for 3, a single in the 4th. Little tapper back to the mound. Evan has 1 play, and they throw out Quiroz for the first out in the 8th. That brings up the catcher, Sebastian Valle. Valle flied out in the 7th. D-backs lead at 6-3, each team with 10 hits and an error. Evan Marshall trying to get things back on track. Just 15 big league appearances last year. He spent most of last season at AAA Reno. 33 relief appearances for the Aces, an ERA of 4.59. Behind on Valle, 2-0.
Some issues with the signs here between Oscar Hernandez and Evan Marshall with a runner at second base. Oscar going through a series of signs, and Evan just didn't see anything he liked that time, so they talk it over on the mound.
Well, you go back to 2014, that tremendous rookie season turned in by Evan Marshall. He was so good that year. 57 appearances, a 2.74 ERA in the D-backs bullpen as a rookie. Finished in the top 5 among National League rookie relievers in holds, appearances, and strikeouts, and just hasn't quite been the same guy since.
Kind of an odd pitch selection there, a 2-0 changeup. Obviously the pitch Evan wanted to throw because he shook off Oscar Hernandez several times before Oscar made the trip to the mound. Now he loses him on the 3-1 pitch.
Valle aboard. And here comes Big Daddy. Yafet Amador, the first baseman. He's got a whole lot of power, flying out to center his first time up. He's 0 for 1. Rodriguez at second, Valle at first, and 1 out. Tying run at the plate here in the 8th. Amador played with the Rakuten Golden Eagles in Japan last year. A former Mexican League MVP.
I bet Amador was a big hit in Japan.
I was just thinking that.
No way he can sneak to the ballpark and back without being noticed.
Now once again, Evan Marshall and Oscar Hernandez trying to get on the same page. These two are not connecting out there. No TV tomorrow. The Diamondbacks are in Glendale to take on the White Sox at Camelback Ranch. Patrick Corbin will start in that ball game, but we're back with you on the TV side Friday and Saturday. Taijuan Walker here against Milwaukee on Friday. Robbie Ray gets the Giants on Saturday. Both those games are 1 o'clock starts. There's a strike, and it's 1-1. Off the glove of Oscar, and the runners move up. Now a single can make it a 1-run ball game. But with Amador's history, you just hope he keeps it in the park. He's put up some tremendous numbers in the Mexican League. 2013, he hit .368 with 36 homers. Had 121 RBIs in 104 games.
Jeez.
For Diablos Rojos.
Well, I'm pretty sure he has a green light here, 3-1.
2 years ago, he led the Mexican League in homers. He hit 41 and won the league MVP award. Reyes on deck. Evan Marshall walked Valle, now behind on Amador, 3-1. Full count.
He snuck a sinker right underneath the hands of Amador that time. A lot of late movement, looked like a hittable pitch on the inside part of the plate, but got a lot of late sink.
I'd like to see this guy face Jumbo Diaz. That'd be a matchup for the ages. 3-2 pitch on the way. Broken bat, little number to third for Lugo. He'll settle for one as Rodriguez scores at 6-4.
Second baseman, Luis Orioles.
Valle in at third. 2 down for Urias, who singled and scored his last time up. Doubled and scored in the first. He is 2 for 4. Squirts it the other way for Vargas. And Evan Marshall is out of the inning, but Team Mexico gets one. It's a 6-4 Diamondbacks lead. Still, Diamondbacks lead Mexico's World Baseball Classic team 6-4. Our Gila River game summary. Zach Greinke got the start today, his second this spring. And he got knocked around a bit as Mexico scored 2 in the first. And Zach 2 2/3, 2 runs on 6 hits. Braden Shipley pitched well in his 2 1/3 inning of relief. In front of a crowd of just over 6,300 people at Salt River Field to Talking Stick on a perfect day for baseball. Jeremy Hazelbaker will lead off the 8th inning against the new Team Mexico pitcher. No clue.
He's a lefty.
They gave us a list of last-minute additions. As you can see, no name, no number. All the last-minute ads are right-handers.
Yeah.
And so we are completely in the dark. Nothing new with us up here, but that's the way it goes sometimes.
You do what you're good at.
We'll get Bob's staff on this one and try and figure out who that is. Hazelbaker leads off the 8th inning for the D-backs, each team with 10 hits. Hazelbaker lined out to first his first time up. He's out there in right field right now. Started out in center. Hazel Baker's got some power from the left-hand side. 12 home runs last year with the Cardinals. Tried the corner and missed. It's 1-0.
Into that time of day, you could see the lefty out there on the mound.
Lefty
got the throw back from his catcher, and it got up into the afternoon sun there. He almost didn't catch that ball. And you can see the shadow of the pitcher straight off the back of the mound, and when the catcher lobs the ball back to the pitcher, it gets up there in the sun. Just creeping out over home plate right now.
You know, they designed this ballpark and angled it with the sun considerations, as we saw in that last shot, so that the shadow would not ever come into play in a game that went under 3 hours. And we're just past the 3-hour mark now, and you can see this is architecture at its finest, because they literally designed it based on this time of year, the position of the sun, the calendar, the whole thing, so that the shadow would be exactly there at exactly this moment.
Well, that's what you did in your backyard, I know. Moved your grill over to the other side of the patio. Yeah, there's a lot of things that you take for granted when you go for the ballpark. I've talked about it in the past. I was at Candlestick Park very early in the day one day when they were fine-tuning the lights on top of the stadium. Now, first of all, some clown's got to climb up that light tower on top of the stadium to get up to the bulbs, and they put cardboard boxes all around the field, and specific lights were supposed to shine on specific areas of the field to avoid shadows. And it was very interesting to watch those guys go about their work that day and fine-tune every light on every light tower.
Well, mystery solved, and shame on us for not recognizing Will LeConte, the lefty.
Oh, my bad.
And former D-back. Will pitched last year with the Visalia Mobile, but only pitched in 13 games. So mystery solved. There's Will out of Cumberland University in Lebanon, Tennessee, an 11th round pick by the D-backs 6 years ago. Just 13 games between A-ball and AA last year. Oh, well, Lugo now. Lugo had an RBI single his last time up. Lugo's a guy who's starting to fill out a bit. 22 years old. He'll turn 23 in December, so he just turned 22. But he's got some pop in that bat, and for a while you thought, okay, maybe he's a second baseman, maybe a shortstop, but now he profiles better at third with his size and with his power. And this is a guy who's, as you can see, pretty thick up there, and that's after dropping 15 pounds. He's a strong young man. 17 home runs last year as a 21-year-old. And they think as he continues to develop and grow into his body a bit that those power numbers will keep going up. Three balls and a strike. That's going to get foul. Full count, 3-2.
I would expect to see Hazelbaker on the move down there at first base. Lovello has started runners on 3-2 counts regardless of the outs, and that's exactly what he does as Lugo pounds one into left field for a base hit.
Hazelbaker in at third. You can see why scouts like Dawel Lugo. He's a hitter. A walk and a single open up the Diamondback eighth.
Left fielder, Jake Gobert.
That'll bring up Jake Gobert, the left fielder. Jake Gobert, a 13th round pick by the Houston Astros in the 09 draft out of Northwestern in Evanston, Illinois. We saw him a few years ago in the big leagues with the San Diego Padres. Played just over 50 games with the Padres 3 years ago.
Not an easy at bat here for a left-handed hitter against LeConte with that slinging low 3/4 arm angle. Tough to hang in there for a left-handed hitter.
Gobert spent last season in AAA with the Tampa Bay Rays ball club, the Durham Bulls. Just over 90 games. He had 218 with 10 homers. Base hit. Hazelbaker will score. It's 7-4, the RBI for Jake Gobert.
May have been a tough at bat, but Gobert comes out on top. It's a hard ground ball through that right side. Hung in there tough against that lefty.
Center fielder, Evan Marzilli.
That'll bring up Evan Marzilli, the center fielder. Former D-back Will LeConte, the lefty out there. Marzilli struck out looking his last time up to win the 6th. Ball one.
A lot of times little guys with speed like Marzilli facing a tough left-handed pitcher like this, that's when they'll try to bunt for a base hit. Tough to hang in there, especially against that breaking ball, but if you know you're going to bunt, it makes it a little easier to hang in there against the lefty.
Rodriguez at third is even with the bag. So there's lots of room down there if he wants to drop one down. He's even backed off a few steps now. 1-1 pitch. This is upstairs, and it's 2 balls and a strike to Evan Marzilli. Evan Marzilli, oh, just like Chris Iannetta from the Rhode Island area. He played at Bishop Hendricken High School, which is a big hockey powerhouse in Rhode Island. And was a very good college player at South Carolina. Playing for the Gamecocks in Columbia. An 8th round pick by the Diamondbacks 5 years ago. He was a big part of their back-to-back College World Series championship teams. Full count, 3-2. Lugo, the runner at second, and Gobert at first. Oscar Hernandez on deck. Runners hold, and Marzilli gets it awry. Deep right field. There it goes.
Oh, my.
Evan Marzilli, a 3-run homer. And it's 10-4 D-backs. A long home run off the lefty.
Yeah, so much for playing small ball and taking advantage of your speed. Just hit it over the fence and trot around the bases. Doesn't happen often for Evan Marzilli, but he got a fastball down and in, got the barrel on it. That was a no-doubter to right field.
We just talked about how he didn't really have much power in the minors last year. Well, no problem supplying the power to get one out of here to right field.
He's been in the weight room this winter.
Guess so. Just over 100 games in the Southern League last year, had 1 home run. Evan Marzilli makes it 10-4. Now 13 hits for the Diamondbacks, and here's Oscar Hernandez. First 4 have reached in the D-backs' 8th. A walk, 2 singles, and a home run. It's turned into a 4-run inning. Another guy with no name, no number is up in the Team Mexico bullpen. Just green on the back of that jersey. This is rolled right by the shortstop, Quiros, and into left, a single for Oscar Hernandez. It's been a rough outing for Will LeConte so far. And here comes Edgar Gonzalez. Well, the Brenly committee will get going and try and find out who this is. So stay tuned for that news when we come back. 10-4, good buddy. Valley of the Sun, Arizona Diamondbacks baseball. Our coverage of the Cactus League continues. An exhibition game today against Mexico's World Baseball Classic team. And so far 4 runs in for the D-backs in the bottom of the 8th inning. Another gorgeous day in Arizona. Look at that. Well, there is a new pitcher in for Team Mexico. Josh Thole is the hitter. Oscar Hernandez, the runner at first.
He's a right-hander.
So far, I'm with you. Thole doubled his last time up. Josh signed a minor league deal with the D-backs near the end of January. After 4 seasons with the Mets and 4 seasons with the Blue Jays. Thole's always been a guy who can catch that knuckleball. Which is a rare breed even among big league catchers, isn't it?
It's against everything your instincts tell you you should do. As a catcher, you see the ball leave the pitcher's hand. You want to put your glove in the area where you think the pitch is going to end up. But with a knuckleball, you have no idea where it's going to end up, and neither does the pitcher.
But Thole, because he's been able to catch it and work with R.A. Dickey both in New York and Toronto, has had himself a nice big league career. 13th round pick back in '05. 3-2. Well, Bob Brenly now reporting that this is Matt McGill on the mound.
Yeah, that's what I thought.
Well, there's no Matt McGill on the roster.
Maybe Trevor McGill?
There's a Trevor McGill. Oh, and Tully gets plunked right in the thigh. I'm going to say this is Trevor McGill.
That's his new name.
He's on a Loyola Marymount, a 23-year-old coming off Tommy John surgery a few years ago. Well, in any case, here's Jason Pridey. Once again, two catchers on the bases for the D-backs. Anything's bound to happen. Two catchers running the bases and an unnamed, unidentified pitcher.
Get the trainers ready and a fire extinguisher just in case their cleats catch on fire running around the bases.
Oscar tripped over third last time. Who was the best base running catcher you ever saw?
Well, there's been a few really good ones. John Stearns was a guy that could steal a base and had good speed when he ran the bases, catching for the Mets all those years.
You were a pretty good runner.
Yeah, it was all right early on in my career. Later on, the knees just wouldn't cooperate. I lost a lot of speed. I lost the little speed I had. It's easier to identify the catchers who were not good base runners. Through no fault of their own, they knew what to do. They knew what they should do. It's just the legs just wouldn't cooperate.
They tend to stand out, not in a good way.
You know, it's funny because in the game of baseball, a lot of times, for example, ball hit into the gap in left center with a runner at first base. And as a catcher, you kind of track the lead runner. Where's he at? Now you look back and pick up the trail runner, and you kind of anticipate where that lead runner is going to be when you look back up again. And sometimes they're farther along than you expected. And with a catcher, usually they were several steps behind where you thought they were going to be.
Infield fly rule called on that one. So Pridey's out. All right, we've got our second 29 now. Now I'm looking up some of these numbers. As this one has bounced to third. Hello! The throw almost goes into right field. Now you had 10 stolen bases in 1983. Then you were an all-star the next year, of course. Then 86, you stole 10 bases. 87, you stole 10. You had 45 career stolen bases.
Wow.
I mean, that is some blazing speed.
I don't think Ricky Henderson lost any sleep over it, but, you know, playing for Roger Craig, and he liked to use the hit and run a lot, and he liked to start runners when you would least expect it, and I was the candidate a lot of times. He's not going to run. That's a catcher over there. Man, play behind him, and then I'd take off.
You know, we never did figure out why every team in the league threw over to first when Jake Lamb was over there.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, sometimes just things happen. Ildemaro Vargas.
And sometimes that's a result of advanced scouting. You know, there'd be an advanced scout sitting in the stands looking at the Diamondbacks in preparation for an upcoming series, and somebody might bunt for a base hit, or at least show bunt for a base hit. That'll go on the advance report, and every time that player comes to the plate against that team, they're going to say, take the bunt away. He showed bunt one time. Take it away. Well, the same thing I think happened to Jake Lamb last year. He did one of the Dave McKay stolen bases where he just took off at first and was standing on second base by the time the catcher got the ball. Well, that ended up on the report, so the rest of the year, Jake Lamb was Ricky Henderson.
Might as well have been the way they kept an eye on him. First and third, 2 outs now. Vargas still 1-2. D-backs now with 14 hits. They lead at 10-4. Jimmy Sherfy still warming up in the D-backs bullpen. He's already got 2 saves this spring. You know, they tend to bend the rules for wins and saves in spring training. But there is Sherfy, the hard-throwing right-hander, who had a great year in the minors last year. We'll get a look at him when we come back. Diamondbacks put up 4. We head to the 9th. It's 10-4 D-backs. Cy Young winner against Tim Tebow in Port St. Lucie. Ring him up, sit him down. This was Tebow's day today against the Red Sox. He did get on base. He was hit by a pitch. And then learning to run the bases. Speaking of base running, how about this?
Back.
Too late.
Freeze on a line drive. He took about 2 big steps towards second base and no slide back into first base.
And that was Tim Tebow's day for the Mets today in Port St. Lucie against the Red Sox. Here's Jimmy Sherfy, hard-throwing right-hander, 30 saves in the D-backs minor league system last year. He was outstanding. 52 appearances, a 2.77 ERA. This is a guy that just pounds away with hard stuff in the strike zone. He's made a couple of Cactus League appearances this spring. He fell a bit behind when he was down with that flu bug that's been going through the D-backs clubhouse, so he was out for a while, but in 2 innings of work so far, he's given up just 1 hit with a pair of strikeouts, and he's got 2 saves. Medrano now at second, and Vargas moves over to shortstop behind him. So a chance to watch Jimmy Sherfy here as Juarez leads it off for Team Mexico. D-backs have out-hit Mexico 14-10. They lead it 10-4. Sherfy, when he was closing games at the University of Oregon, was known as Wild Thing. He put on a show because as an underclassman, there were times where he had no idea where it was going, but he threw hard and he would walk the ballpark. But he really refined his control and became a very good collegiate closer. Was a 10th round pick by the Diamondbacks out of Oregon 4 years ago. And he has worked his way up through the minor league system. Medrano at second, and the throw pulls Friday off the bag.
A little tapper to the right side on a couple of big hops to Medrano. Just lackadaisical with his throw to first base. Give Juarez some credit for busting it down that line on a routine ground ball to second. That'll be an E4 as the throw pulls Friday off the bag.
Navarro now. Jimmy Sherfy last year as he worked his way up through the D-backs minor league system. picked up 30 saves, so he's got lots of closing experience. And he averaged nearly 13 strikeouts for every 9 innings pitched. He has been the classic power closer in the minors. Not a big guy out there, but throws very hard. And he's learning to mix it up, as we just saw right there. He's been throwing strikes all spring. Navarro 1 for 3, walked his last time up. Scherfy in his first 2 appearances this spring, 26 pitches, 19 strikes. So he does not mess around. And he was a sophomore at Oregon, had no control. He was Ricky Vaughn from the movie Major League. They would sort of get into it at Oregon. The PA system would blast the Wild Thing song whenever he came into the ball game, and it really became part of his identity in college. He kind of got into it. The fans embraced it. It was like the movie. He'd come in, they'd all start singing the song, and it was Look Out Below. But he's always been a bit of a showman. He gets into it. He's an intense young man. He once thought that his facial hair was too blonde. Felt it wasn't quite tough enough, so he went to the store, bought some Just for Men, and he dyed his beard trying to look more intimidating out there.
Well, it worked for Brian Wilson when he was closing for San Francisco. All of a sudden one year he came back and his beard was midnight black.
It looks like he's got the natural look going today.
Yeah.
3-2 on Navarro.
Scherfy. Say this for Scherfy, his velocity consistently mid-90s here today, and when he's missed in his favor. Down there below the knees, just off the corners. He's not missing by much.
Well, he started last year in A-ball at Visalia, Jimmy Scherfy. Worked 12 innings, struck out 21 without giving up a run. It was off to Double-A Mobile. High fly ball. Deep center field. Marzilli has room. Once he got to Mobile, Jimmy Scherfy worked 19 innings, gave up only 1 run. And again put up big strikeout numbers, so finally they had to move him up to AAA Reno. All in the same year. He got hit a little bit more there, as you might imagine, but still put up some impressive strikeout totals and saved 12 games for the Yankees. Sebastian Elizalde now in right field. Scherfy comes from an athletic family. His dad, Brad, is a professional golfer. And he worked hard to scratch out a living golfing on some of the mini tours. He did play in 4 U.S. Opens and some PGA championships, Brad Scherfy, and eventually became the golf coach at UCLA.
Nice. We can hook Brandon Drury up with Jimmy Scherfy's father, get some lessons, and
might have something going.
Might have something going. Nice breaking ball right there. We know he's got a fastball and command of that fastball. As you mentioned, even though his size would not indicate it, he's a power pitcher out there on the mound, but the breaking ball isn't always there for him consistently. That was a real nice tight curveball he threw last pitch.
You can see the darkness around home plate. The pitching mound still in the sunlight. Another beauty from Scherfy. He's got the strikeout. This is a kid to watch in the Diamondback system. He's close. 2 down now. The center fielder, Chris Roberson. A single in the first. He's 1 for 4. He struck out twice.
Got to be a little tough to see right now. We've seen some funny looking swings from Team Mexico's bats here in this inning.
You can see how dark it is in there. 0-2 now. Sherfy just throwing up breaking balls, taking advantage. Diamondback trying to close out a 10-4 lead over Mexico's World Baseball Classic team. Team Mexico begins its WBC play in round 1 Thursday against Team Italy. Strike 3. Sherfy a couple of strikeouts, and it's a 10-4 Diamondback win.
Good way to finish it out here today. Jimmy Sherfy coming in to slam the door on Team Mexico. A long time ago, Zach Greinke was out there on the mound. Another successful outing for him. He did give up 6 base hits, but all of his stuff was working well. His command was good, didn't walk a batter. And the Diamondbacks take home a win today.
And they improved to 7-6 in spring training so far. Diamondbacks will be at Camelback Ranch in Glendale tomorrow to take on the White Sox. Patrick Corbin starts in that game. No TV for you tomorrow. But Bob and I are back on the TV side Friday and Saturday. Taijuan Walker against the Brewers here Friday. Robbie Ray Saturday against the Giants. Both those are 1 o'clock starts. Well, Zach Greinke on the mound to start it off, his second start this spring. A whole lot of offense for the Diamondbacks. They out-hit Team Mexico 14-10, and they win it 10-4. For my partner Bob Brentley, I'm Steve Bertini. Thanks for watching D-backs Baseball here on Fox Sports Arizona. We'll see you again here Friday afternoon. So long, everybody.